Right, we are ready to go. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are here for what has been a longly awaited final. Is longly even a word? I don't know, but I'm very excited about this matchup. Blues versus Chiefs. The Super Rugby season has been heating up. There are no Crusaders in sight for the top 8, which does mean for the first time in a long time, we are going to see a new champion crown. Now, we are only around 15 minutes away from the kickoff in this contest, but it is certainly going to be an entertaining one at Eden Park. Now, if the Hurricanes had beaten the Chiefs last week, this game would have been taking place at Sky Stadium. We are at Eden Park. There is currently rain falling, so hopefully it's going to clear up before too long, or else that would be quite sad if we do see a final completely affected by the rain. But looking through at the starting lineup for the Blues, they are looking strong. As always, Ofa Tuangafasi, Ricky Riccatelli, and Marcel Renata as the front row. Patrick Tuipulotu, a lot of people felt like he was not going to be available for this match, but somehow he has come back and he is going to be there at number 4. Now, I am a little bit concerned that him deciding to play in this match is going to influence whether or not he can play for the ABs just around the corner. Of course, that squad being announced on Monday. Sam Derry at number 5. Also a bit of a rumour that that man could be a bolter for the All Blacks this year. Kiriawani at number 6, Dalton Papali and Hoskins Satutu will make up the loose forward trio. Satutu, if he can score one try, will have the most tries out of any forward throughout a Super Rugby Pacific season. Finley Christie starting 9 with Harry Plummer as the 10. AJ Lamb and Rico Ioane, who is still on 49 tries. That man wants his 50th. He has been waiting around 400 days to be able to get that 50th. Could the final be the time that he does do it? Caleb Clark, Mark Talia, and Stephen Perofeta as the back 3 for the Chiefs. They have got Aidan Ross. They have got Tyrone Thompson. No Simisoni Taukiaho and no Bradley Slater for this game. And from the pre-match interviews and everything along those lines, a lot of Blues supporters are feeling confident. They're saying the Chiefs don't have a hooker. But I can tell you right now, Tyrone Thompson is not a man to look past, because he has scored try after try after try for the Magpies, and the Bunnings NPC gets limited game time for the Chiefs, but when he does come on the field, normally makes that impact. So I would still watch out for him. I don't think this game is going to be won by the line-out just yet, but we got George Dyer starting at number 3 as well to close out the Chiefs front row. Jimmy Tupou and Tupou Va'i will be the locking duo, with Summer Penifenau at 6, Luke Jacobson as the 7, and Wallace Satiti slotting in at 8. Now, Wallace Satiti versus Hoskins Satutu seems to be the talk of the town at the moment. Both of these two sides have got world-class 8s. Satiti's a bolter. Could make the ABs. We'll have to wait and see. Satutu, after missing out on that Rugby World Cup squad, I believe he would have done enough this year to at least get into that All Black squad. If not, maybe he will go overseas in the future. Cortez Ratama and Damien McKenzie as their 9-10 combo. Rami Kapoihipi and Anton Leonard-Brown in the midfield, with a Tenai Nanasatoro, Imoni Narawa, and Sean Stevenson back at number 15. Now, he did miss last week's due to an injury. He had to pull out late, but they are back with their back 3. Anton Leonard-Brown as well, I need to mention, has had an absolutely phenomenal season so far for the Chiefs in that back line, and I don't expect this game to be any different. Quickly looking through at the benches, then we will be reading the chat, but Blues have got Kurt Eklund, Josh Fusitua, and also Angus Ta'avau as their front row replacements. Berry and Choate as 19 and 20, then Taufa Funaki, Bryce Heem, and Cole Forbes to come off the bench as well. For the Chiefs, there is no Bradley Slater. The late change has been made. I believe Clayton McMillan has mentioned that it's a guy who's been with the squad pretty much the whole season. Hasn't had game time, but he's going to get the chance here. I don't even know what this man's name is. I can't remember what McMillan said. But you'd assume Tyrone Thompson has to have about a 65, 70-minute performance here for the Chiefs. Jared Prophet and Ruben O'Neill, the other two front row replacements. Manakai Selby-Rickett alongside Simon Parker as the 20. Xavier Rowe, Quintupai, and Daniel Rona as the back replacements. But looking through at the chat, we have got a lot of messages, ladies and gents. I hope you are all doing very well. In fact, there's that many messages, I'm going to struggle to read them. We've got Moa Hunter, we've got Novmum, Fluffy, Relaxing Kiwi. We have also got Carmen in the chat, Sires here, Wonga, Daniel, and also we have got Robert. Tell you what, it's still going. Nars Williams is here, Valine is here, Kiwi Joy is here. Hope you guys are all doing very well. High Life said go the Chiefs and congratulations. Wild 66-6 down to the Titans. Loser since 1995, now then forever. Says High Life there. And also we have got their morning, mate. Hey, you know what? I'm excited. This is going to be a great game. The only thing that's slightly unfortunate is the fact that the weather is maybe going to play up a little bit for this contest. I know it was supposed to be raining before kickoff. Seems like the rain is still falling at the moment, and we are closing in on the start of this matchup. We'll be having Norm Maxwell back on Amish, probably at some stage. I talked to him a couple weeks ago. We didn't really talk about whether or not he was popping back on the channel in the near future, but hopefully one day we'll bring him back on. And we have got the Chiefs in white. I think they might be for this. Oh, no, they should be in their home kit, because or else then I would think that white would actually clash more with the Blues kit than if they were in their black. But yeah, they might actually be in the white for today as well, by the looks of it, compared with last time that they did play an exciting grand final, says John there. And mate, please give us all the games you're streaming today. Well, they are scheduled on the channel, but the next one that we got is Springboks versus Wales, then followed by the URC final, just taking place at 4 a.m. New Zealand time. Up the Blues, and also coming new Blues, says Gary Thompson. But yeah, they were expecting a sellout crowd for this contest, 45,000 or so, I think they said. But with the rain falling, maybe not as many people will be popping in, although this is certainly a game that you do not want to miss. Like I mentioned, there are no Crusaders in this final, and it's going to be the opportunity for one of these two sides, second place Blues, fourth place Chiefs in terms of the regular season standings, to then go on and get themselves a big win here. Good morning, Amish from Durban. Hello there, says Stone Cold. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are keeping well. Looking through at the previous results for these two sides. Of course, they actually played only less than a month ago. 21 days since the Blues versus Chiefs match did take place as the final round in the Super Rugby season. 31 points to 17 in favour of the Blues. Although I should mention that game actually stopped the Blues from finishing in number one spot. The reason that happened is because we did see the Chiefs get that last minute try. And that type of thing, I mean, they have a home final anyway, so I don't think the Blues will be that phased by it. And they've also had a decent draw to get through. Meant that they didn't have to play the Chiefs in the semi, which could have, of course, changed a few things. But in the quarterfinals, the Blues 36 points to 5 over the Fijian drawer. And then in the semi-final, they were able to win at 34 points to the 21 moment. I am about to sneeze, so I will quickly mute, and then we will talk through the Chiefs' previous fixtures. We are good. But, like I mentioned, the Chiefs did lose that last game to the Blues, and in fact, they lost both games that they have played up against the Blues this year. 43 points to 21. Chiefs getting themselves to win over the Reds in the quarters, and then up against the Hurricanes, winning it away from home. 30 points to 19. They come in as underdogs for this game, but they came in as underdogs for that game up against the Canes, and they were able to get themselves the win. But it is still raining, unfortunately. Did the Blues make a lot of tackles in the semi, says Cold Stone? They made a few. I mean, the Brumbies definitely didn't attack the way that a lot of people hoped that they would. They thought that it was going to be a lot closer in that game, but at the end of the day, like, the Brumbies didn't really show up for that game at Eden Park, and to be honest, it was one of their better performances that they've had in New Zealand, with the exception, of course, of that game up against the Highlanders down in Dunedin. But aside from that, you know, they just haven't really stepped up to away games. So I have to stay up till midnight to possibly not even see the Box lose, says Katzenell. I guess so. Like, yeah, that's how rugby works. They're playing for us at about midnight, or I think it's 1 a.m. New Zealand time that they are going to be playing, but we are starting pretty early because we're looking through at that squad. I've just mentioned there that the squad are going to be affected by rain in this game, unfortunately. The lineups for this contest, morning from Germany, says Ta, and also how far away to kickoff, says John. At the moment, 5 minutes, so they are just welcoming both sides out onto the field here. Luke Jacobson leading the way for the Chiefs. They lost 2 games, but then they've won their last 2. They lost to the Hurricanes, they lost to the Blues. Their record up against New Zealand sides this year hasn't been too great, but this is one of those opportunities that if you get it right for this contest, you are getting yourself a Super Rugby 2024 title. But Tyrone Thompson, that man has a lot of weight on his shoulders, and I don't mean how much he actually weighs, although he is a big boy, but he is going to have such an important role to play for the Chiefs. And like I mentioned, a lot of people think that because the Chiefs don't have Samisoni Taukei'aho, that they don't have a chance in this game. And that could be far from the truth because Tyrone Thompson, like I mentioned, he's brilliant in a rolling maul. And that might actually counter how the Blues play because, of course, we know that the Blues love going for that rolling maul. What's happening in Japan? Says, but the last I saw it was 7 points to 3 in favour of England, I believe. Any late changes to the Blues? I believe they are still the same. Hello. Says Sebastian, welcome in. The Chiefs in white? No, they are actually in their home kit for this contest. And Warrior success choked the woke and something, my brother from Germany, loving the Euros. Says Cy, and go the Blues the best. Says for Ave. And there as well, an RIP CGB. So sad he passed away, had a lot left in him. And to prove, says Bands of Blaze, yeah, that was the news that kind of rocked the Super Rugby community this week, the passing of Connor Garden Bishop, only 25, I believe, which is far too young. And Go Blues Go, says Milian or Melania. I hope there's no serious injuries occur in this kind of weather, says Katzenell. Well, that's the thing. Oh, tell you what, it's actually got heavier. The rain is still absolutely pouring at Eden Park. There are so many men in contention for the ABs in these starting lineups and reserves. And the problem that they've got is with the likes of Tui Pilotu, who's playing with an injury, with the likes of Sean Stevenson, who's playing with a bit of an injury. Papa Lee, he failed his HIA last week. He's back this week. I don't know how that works, but there are a lot of guys at the moment who are right on contention for the All Black squad that is being announced on Monday. But if they get themselves injured here, it's going to be possibly not just missing the internationals up against the English, but also maybe the Rugby Championship as well, depending on the extent. What time is it in New Zealand? At the moment, it is 7:03 p.m. New Zealand time. It's rugby. It's meant to be played in rain. It's not cricket, says High Life. Yeah, although always, dry games, you normally get a lot more points scored. They have talked about this game all week as being a high-scoring final, but, if there's a lot of rain around, might make it a little bit less easy. So tell me, Hamish, what happened to the Hurricanes? I was shocked when the Hurricanes lost. They ended first in the competition, says Morne Lagrange. Well, fun fact, they dropped the ball 17 times in that game up against the Chiefs. 18 if you include Brad Shields dropping the ball before they even made it out of the tunnel. And maybe that was a bad omen. Maybe that was a sign of things to come for them. But yeah, you can't win a game up against a side if you've dropped the ball more than double figures or, more than 10. That's normally where it gets a bit too tricky. You can keep us up to date with any injuries during the game. I will certainly do my best there. It's halftime now, but England are kicking Japan's, to be fair, expected, I would say, for the English. It's the TT. It must be pretty good to move Jacobson to 7. Yeah, I guess that also might be to do with versatility. I don't know what the extent of Kalen Boshia's injury is because that man seemed like he was going all right, but all of a sudden kind of got taken out of the side. It's cold rain, not warm rain. Yeah, it's still going to be wet, though, isn't it, for this game? We have got there, let's go the Blues. Looks like it's going to be up the guts by the forward, says David. And that probably, I would say, benefits the Blues a little bit because they have got such that huge 4-pack that we've seen, 31-3 to England. Oh, so it got a lot worse. Okay, see, I saw it at 7-3. And let's go the Mighty Chiefs. We don't get any yellow cards. We should be okay. So he dropped the ball in the tunnel before the game even started. He actually did, believe it or not. They were making their way out of the tunnel, and he fumbled it. And I don't even know if he was throwing it to himself or anything. It just kind of bounced out of his hands, and little did he know they were going to do that more than 15 more times in that semi-final. Blackout only All Black forward with enough mongrel. I like Scott. If he moves to lock, Artie not human, says Albert. Hamish loves England, says Crumpus. I don't know about that. I mean, England's all right. They've got some pretty nice cricket grounds around. And Wales have tackled fundamentals of Auckland Grammar boys team. And Springbok 34, Wales 17. Says Yaka. Of course, that game taking place in 6 hours, ladies and gentlemen. We are also going to be covering that one on the channel. They have got the New Zealand national anthem being sung at the moment. Rame Kapoya, you can see him there in tears for this national anthem. Of course, an emotional week for some of these young guys. But this is going to be a big game for these two teams. And they have to make sure that their heads are in it from pretty much the first whistle, because one little error in this type of final could lead to a massive line break opportunity. Leonard Brown looks fired up as always. He's had a phenomenal season. Has pretty much blown Rieko Ioane out of the park in every single statistic throughout this season. You're saying it's raining, then this is going to be a close affair. An emotional anthem, and also we have got the I have to play the rest of the season for my club. I lost a great player due to injury, says Pezza Blaze. Yeah, although if you're also injured, then there's probably not much point in you going back and re-injuring yourself. That's what we may say about Patrick Tuipulotu at the end of this game, depending on whether or not he is able to continue in this match. But we have no idea whether or not he is going to be at the stage of being match fit, whether he is going to be all right to continue in this contest. We'll have to wait and see. The Blues have a Ioane in the fullback, so they are at a disadvantage, says Grant. What do you like about England? Lots of Kiwis living there. The cricket grounds are all right too, says Sebastian. Replacement hooker is Mills Sunurvi. Looks like he's on the bench. Yeah, see, they had to make that late change of Bradley Slater. To be honest, I never expected Slater to actually be able to play in this game because he had so many injuries going out of that last contest. Blues are on a 15-match winning streak at Eden Park. They have just shown there as well. The away team has won only 8 of 30 previous Super Rugby finals is the other stat. So the percentages are not in favour of the Blues. The previous record is not in favour of, in favour of the Chiefs. But it could happen. We never really know. Wallace Satiti, what can that man do in the final? We are very close to the kickoff. The Chiefs will be kicking off from left to right, and we are underway for the final. Hoskins Satutu, first touch of the day for him. And he's smashed in the tackle by Tyrone Thompson, who, to be honest, the way that he plays reminds me of a Sapphire Moore. That's going to be kicked downfield from Harry Plummer. Doesn't get the most distance on it. Looks like there's also a little bit of breeze that they're going to have to contend with and the pressure from the Chiefs chasers. They're going to be 25 metres out. This is going to be the first throw in here for Tyrone Thompson. Can he get it down the middle? That was their first start of the season for this man. They did not plan to have Simasoni Tokiaho and Slater both injured in the same game, but that one is claimed by the Chiefs now. Ratama goes across to Rameka Poihipi. Tackled low. Cortez Ratama goes across to Wallace Satiti. He's through. He couldn't quite get the offload away to Anton Leonard-Brown, though. Now across to the left-hand side. And you can see the Blues are scrambling on defence at the moment, trying to work out how to stop this Chiefs attack out wide. That is way too big from Sean Stevenson. They needed about 10 extra metres on the field for Narawa to be able to claim that one. It's gone into touch, and it's going to be now the line-out throw for the Blues. And Cows would never know if there was someone at the front door, says Fluffy. I have lower risk of getting more injured. We don't have a lot of forwards, so I might have to bench for them. I was shocked to see Malcolm Marks' starting lineup. They said Marks would be a second Irish test. I mean, some of those guys are returning pretty soon. Kurtley Aronsa, there were rumours that he wouldn't be available for the July internationals. He's playing for the Bulls today. So, you know, it's going to be interesting. But to Cocky Bro, says Joe the Way, I'm not sure whether was that at Stevenson for the pass? And Stevenson with that pass? Yeah, it was. Way over the top. It looks like Christie. Back into the pocket, goes to Harry Plummer. The pressure was on him, but he does get his kick away. It's worth it being at 3 a.m. in the morning, says Robert. At least for my dad's sake, let the Blues win, says Cy. Harry Plummer, he's actually had a pretty good season overall. Sounds like the rain is just lightening up a little bit, but Tyrone Thompson again will have himself another line-out throw here. Good evening, Hamish, says Zion. Welcome in. Right, looks like communication happening between George Dye and Tyrone Thompson, of course, without many starts. Well, in fact, with no starts, stolen by Satutu. They throw him up at the front, and now Clark on the outside to AJ Lamb, who will go with the boot downfield. And that's gone down into the 22 of the Chiefs. Here comes Sean Stevenson. A lot of people looking at that man with his injured hammy. Kicks it downfield, gets it to Plummer. Goes across now to Stephen Perifetta, who's on first five. It is McKenzie versus Plummer in this matchup. Going after it, Harry Plummer. He's made the tackle on McKenzie, who gets his offload away to Sean Stevenson. Tuonga Fussy almost going with an ankle tap there. But it was with his foot, so it was a foot trip. Leonard Brown now running straight at Rico Ioane. Just inside of their own half at the moment here for the Chiefs. Tupavai rolls out of that tackle. And Ratama looking to the left-hand side. Low ball to Wallace Satiti. Again, that man's pumping his legs. Aaliyah looking for the turnover, can't get it. You can't underestimate the role of a hooker. They can throw in a ball. Says Joe Webby, trying to go over the ball there. Kiriwani gives away a clear penalty. Not rolling away enough Sam Derry. Kira gives it away. He gives the ref a thumbs up and says, oh, yeah, that's a rule, isn't it? And now it's going to be a penalty to the Chiefs. It's the type of thing you can't really afford to be doing in a final, though. When you're in a game that every meter is crucial, every point is even more crucial, and you decide to give them the opportunity at an easy 3. Well, it's not easy. It's a tough kick in the rain. But we see there, Derry trying to roll away. He looked to the ref. To be fair, Nick Berry really didn't tell him too much. He didn't say no, like leave it. Because he looked at the ref. He went, can I take this? Nick Berry looked at him like, and then Akira went, okay, I'll grab it. And then Nick Berry went, no, that's a penalty against you. Nick Berry always giving away quick penalties. Good morning/evening, says Fleshin. Now Damien McKenzie to line up this kick. Got a probability of 47%, so that is not exactly the greatest odds for Damien McKenzie, but I'm sure he'll be smiling at Eden Park, hoping that this one will go over and give them their first points in this contest. Who do you think is going to win? Just guess. I mean, I think the Blues on paper, and in terms of like the statistics looking at this game, they should win it. That's going to be just away to the left-hand side for Damien McKenzie, well claimed by Plummer. Does look for the touchline and does get that ball into touch. Morning, Hamish. Thank you, lads, rockin' fans. Pays child support for the win, says Stefan, and also the Blues says Ruth there. But yeah, I do not underestimate what the Chiefs can do in this game. Why the Chiefs' name on left-hand side of your screen? Should be on the right of the screen. Surely Blues are playing at home. They are. I guess it just did it for fun. I'm not in charge of it. So I guess blame someone other than me. But now, nicely thrown in by Tyrone Thompson. Ratama going across there to Samapeni Fee now. If you want full game stream, go this YouTube. Play Hamish in the background channel is stream now. Says hi live. And now McKenzie, look for the pass across to Aiden Ross. It's going to be knocked on. 40 metres out from the line. The Blues in possession. Now Marcel Renata. Skip pass from Rico Ioane. Gets it away to Caleb Clark. Showing pace. Satiti tried to slow him down, but here comes Clark again till he slips. He makes about 70 metres. He's got the most clean breaks in the competition out of any player. He's also had over 1,100 running metres in the comp. Now, Christie goes across to Tuangafasi with the inside ball, and that was a forward pass from Tuangafasi to Riccatelli. So it is once again going to be the scrum feed to the Chiefs. I'm in the US. I got to sleep around Hamish's schedule, says Robert. Fiji versus Barbarians tomorrow. It is. It's on at the same time as the URC final, which I think is really, really stupid with the amount of other times that they could have played that game. But they decided to overlap it once again so that Fiji doesn't get the coverage that it deserves, which is a big shame. I've got to get to work soon. Hamish French again. Really interesting final because the Blues lost in 2022 and the Chiefs lost to the Crusaders in 2023. And don't get injured, Clark, says Uncle. Yeah, a lot of people still seem uncertain of whether they would put Caleb Clark in the All Blacks, but I honestly feel like he's had a really strong season in that number 11 jersey, and I would be surprised if he misses out. Fiji didn't get players released, I heard, says, oh yeah, the certain players weren't released from their French top 14 sides, whereas there were a few French players who were, but I believe that was due to how far in the competition certain sides had gone. But Ratama now, it's going to be a solid scrum, too much movement though, as it does collapse in the front row. Now, it is going to be another scrum feed for the Chiefs on Wednesday. I see this Toyota Altezza wagon and Reed Street Oamaru driving the broken back axle. The rear of the car was pulling to the left and the axle was going left and right, says Kiwi Gamer. Sounds unfortunate, doesn't it? Fiji didn't get players released. And also Blues 30 kgs heavier. Yeah, they've got their 940 kg forward pack compared to about the 911, I believe it is, of the Chiefs in this contest. Did New Zealand Rugby ever think to put Clark in at 12 for the All Blacks? Not at this stage. We'll have to wait and see whether or not that's something that Scott Robinson does consider. But overall, I feel like it's not necessarily, like, he's not playing badly at 11 at the moment. And if we've learned anything from the past, it's if it's not broken, don't fix it. Or else you end up like a Rico Ioane, how they went, we'll put him in the centres even though he is a winger. And then he had a couple good seasons there, but so far this year he hasn't scored in 400 days. I'm a Clark fan all day long. Says drink on the moon, but I feel like in the final, that's going to be the time that Rico Ioane does step up. That's in off his feet from Tupavai. Another penalty, Mark Talia now dropping the ball. That's happening a lot lately. Doesn't like a wet game, Mark Talia. And Clark should do Tui Mala and move inwards with age, says Hanoi. And the benefit that they've got with Caleb Clark is he's still so young as well. Like, he's got a lot of years left in him as long as he avoids injuries and everything along those lines. Like, he has got plenty of potential. So, we'll have to wait and see how it ends up going for him. Right, kicking for touch here, Harry Plummer. And also we have got the, unfortunately, Krampus, they need me Saturday. Says Roof. But yeah, straight in off his feet there for Tupavai, Inga the winger. Says Glenn Woods. He's disappointed with it there, Tupavai. Not to be able to time that one now. Ricky Riccatelli going to be throwing this one in. They're inside of the 22 and they have scored a lot of tries from this position. Is it better for New Zealand rugby if the Chiefs or the Blues win? Hammy says Annoy. Depends on who you talk to, really. Like, I feel like having a new champion, of course, is a brilliant thing. And, I think it just splits opinions of whichever side people like a little bit better. There are probably more Blues going to be in the All Blacks, maybe. Or, I don't know about that, though. Chiefs are probably going to have quite a few players sneaking in there as well. That's going to be offside advantage against the Chiefs. I believe that was Jimmy Tupou. This time rushing up Caleb Clark with a pick and go around the side of the breakdown. Makes an extra 3 metres or so. Ball's there for Christie. Now 10 metres out from the line. Sounds like Aiden Ross was actually also offside. In this case, around the side of the breakdown. Here comes Akira Ioane. 10 metres from the line. Oscar Tutu looking for the offload. Gets it to Plummer, who tries to go himself. He's going to be dragged down just a couple metres short of the try line. They've got themselves a new penalty advantage. Ricky Riccatelli. That is within inches of the try line, but he has not quite gone over just yet. Here we go, Timo says Fluffy. Around the side. That looked close for Akira, but he may have just been short. Sam Derry, and morning from South Africa, says Undilly, welcome in. Of course, we are covering South Africa versus Wales later on today, so be sure to hang around for that one. Right, he's lunged and he's got close, says Nick Berry, so they are going to check this one to see whether or not it is a try. Playing under penalty advantage, they want to see whether or not there was a touch on the line for Akira. I'll phone French boss Roof, tell him off, says Krampus there. Timo said, figure it out yourself, Ref, says Mr. Allin. Of course, soon we will actually get to see the new rules taking place, including that South Africa-Wales game. They can go back more than 2 phases if there is a knock-on. Does he get it there? No. Oh. Okay, I think if he has touched the line, it is a try. But at the same time, he has either touched just on the line or just short, and then it's popped up for Akira Ioane. We need to see clear, conclusive evidence here. It looks pretty close. He maintains possession, and I think Akira Ioane is going to end up with the try here. Didn't you pick Plummer in your ABs? I did, yeah. Decided to have a bit of a bolter, and to be honest, there's a couple guys who I selected in the squad who I don't actually think they will go with ahead of some of the experienced guys, such as the fact that I put in Proctor rather than Ioane, and I put in Plummer rather than Barrett, but I thought it was nice to give them a bit of a shout. We might even do another video tomorrow where we do a bit of an updated one after the Super Rugby final. But Akira Ioane, he has scored the try for the Blues. That is his second of the season. Just watching Delayed Rugby League Warriors versus Titans go the Blues and I, Hamish. The Bulls surprised us all being in the international Leinster side. What a victory for the Bulls, says Mornay. And boo, says Nov Mum. Pretty close, it's not a try, but they gave it anyway, says Joe Webby. Yeah, it's a hard one to see as well. So many players ended up going down just over the line there for the Chiefs. And then Akira Ioane just taking it on himself. Now lining up this kick here for Harry Plummer. Currently 12 minutes into this contest, and that is going to be the first points of the day. Of course, that earlier miss from Damien McKenzie kept them at 0. Now Plummer. It's looked strong throughout his 2024 Super Rugby season. And he's got it over again, Harry Plummer. 7 points to 0 now in favour of the Blues. And go the Chiefs, says David. Come on, Chiefs. Says Orisi Riccatelli will be the new All Blacks hooker, says Kit Dyer. And plenty of time left, says Orisi. And what a beauty, says Mr. All In. But yeah, his kicking's been really good this year, Harry Plummer. Like, we've got to remember, yes, he's only about 70%, but some of the kicks that he's had to attempt have been pretty tricky, to say the least. The big run from Tui Pelotu, breaking through 2 tackles. That man does not look like he is nursing an injury at the moment. Now going off to the left-hand side, that was a high tackle from Luke Jacobson on AJ Lamb. I mentioned about it at the moment, Jacobson's discipline. You know, you're never quite going to see that man not have something that he's done wrong in a game. Little chip him behind, nicely claimed by Summer Penny Fee now. Caleb Clark didn't play much in the World Cup. I'm here for him, says Andeli. We have got their score is wrong. It is wrong, yeah. For some reason, they have put the Chiefs as the home side, but I am not in charge. Look, no hands. It's still changing without me touching it. Unfortunately, they are very confused by the looks of it. So what? I won't a soggy game favour Blues' methodical style. Chiefs is more of a full-on attack, says Jonathan Manson. Yeah, I think that the rainy conditions, definitely with the way that the Blues kind of enter that 22 and continue to just slowly break down their opposition, like that is going to be very beneficial, having the big forwards. It was a beautiful run, though, from Patrick Tui Pelotu initially. Score wrong way around? It is, yes, but I can't do anything about it because it's an online scoreboard. We have got their pleas for play up. There we go, they've switched it. They must have heard you. But once again, my hands are still here. I did not change anything. Going to be overthrown by the Blues, but it sits up there. Oh, Plummer's just taken a knee to the head from Tyrone Thompson. He didn't mean it. He ran in and he slipped. He's all right, though. Man's got a chin on him. Around the side, Rico Ioane making a couple extra meters, 10 meters out now. Ricky Riccatelli goes away to Sam Derry here for the Blues. Trying to get over the ball. It's going to be Anton Leonard-Brown. No, he's given away the penalty, though, they've said. Not supporting the body weight against Anton Leonard-Brown. Oh, hang on. Okay, Nick Berry having a chat to Luke Jacobson, saying that they've had too many infringements inside of their 22 at the moment, and if there's any more, I'm going to send someone off for 10 minutes. Come on, Blues, says Zion. And what's your prediction for the URC final? I do think that it is going to be a Bulls win, but I'm hoping that Glasgow make it competitive. Blues have ref card handy. Great gift, ref, says Uncle. And there as well. But 15 minutes into the contest now. Clayton McMillan, he's on his walkie-talkie at the moment. Would they take? I think they've got to take the 3 here. When you're in a final as well, you've got to take any points that are available. DMAC for All Blacks 10 class, says David. Now Harry Plummer, still sitting with that 70% accuracy. Go the Blues, says Thinny there. And also look like the Blues will grind the Chiefs down, says Kit Dyer. And yeah, it's certainly a much more wet game than they were anticipating for this matchup between the sides. That one has gone over, and that is now going to make the score 10 points to 0 in favour of the Blues here. Both teams are going to have a circle jerk in the URC final. I don't know whether they will. I feel like the crowd at Loftus that sold out may not appreciate a circle jerk, unfortunately for them. What's the difference between World 15 and Barbarians? Well, the Barbarians are the Barbarians. The World 15 was a one-time thing that, like, kind of didn't amount to anything more than just one game, which hopefully they do change in the future, because I feel like a World XV would be pretty cool to see them play every once in a while. Barbarians are already a World XV, says Crumpets. I mean, they are a little bit, but also it's to do with the selections in terms of who is available. So, you know, like they're same but different, if that makes sense. However, a good time. The Bulls play at Loftus, says Julian. They certainly do. And also, as Razor watching this game, he better be. I'd assume he's at the stadium, I would think. She just need to ride the first 20 out. Then Search and Destroy says drink on the moon. How's the attendance for this game? Sold out. 45,000, I think it is, at Eden Park is the expected attendance. So that's how many tickets have been sold anyway. Some people, when they see the rain, may have said, nah, I'm good. But they still paid their money for their ticket. Barbarians play all the time? Well, they don't, do they? Like, they've played 3 times in the last 2 years or something like that. And now making their way forward, or maybe 4 times if they're lucky. Now, Cortez Ratama going across there to Tupava'i. 15 metres out the line. Here comes Tyrone Thompson. Whatuanga Fasi makes the low tackle. Wallace Atiti. They've worked out that they have to tackle him round the bootlaces, or else he just makes metres for fun. Tyrone Thompson again throws himself at the line. Tui Palotu going over the ball, trying to get the turnover. He has also given away the penalty, though. Ricky Riccatelli, the man who hasn't rolled away there. And the Chiefs have the opportunity for an easy 3 themselves. Needs to improve the kicking D-Max, says David. And also we have got there, get a try Chiefs. And also New Zealand needs bigger stadiums, says Getson. Now, well, they don't really. Like, the only time that they need bigger stadiums is for a final. Other than that, though, like, not many games throughout the season have been sold out. Definitely not when you've got a stadium like Eden Park. I know there's a big one being built in Christchurch at the moment, but I'm not sure of the attendance for that one. But if you're going to have a stadium that only gets sold out for a final, then, you know, I don't think that warrants building a big new stadium. We have got there, yeah, Southern Hemisphere, this is Northern Hemisphere. 15s is a good idea. That one's gone over. And that is now going to make the score 3 points to 10, still in favour of the home side, the Blues. But there is plenty of time left in this contest. Do you see the Razor doco on Sky Sport? I have not, no. Not at this stage, but I will have to give it a look at some point, of course. The Blues making the mistake off the kickoff. Dosso Chiefs says JMS. Do you think Peter Lakai should make the All Blacks? I think so. I think he's had a really, really good stadium. Or sorry, not a stadium, really good season. It's a country 4 million. No, we don't need bigger stadiums based on what, says High Life. Is Rugby League more popular than Rugby Union in New Zealand? It is not, but it's getting there. You know, there's a few more people taking up Rugby League at a young age rather than Union. Tosso Chiefs, Tosso. That is a great kick downfield, I should mention, from the Blues. And now the Chiefs are inside of their 22. And they will have to try and work their way out of it. It just bounces in the field of play. You need bigger stadiums if you want to host a World Cup in the future, says Joe Webby. Oh, that's not straight from Tyrone Thompson. Taken on the outside arm, says Nick Berry there. But I mean, New Zealand, I think they've hosted 2 Rugby World Cups, haven't they, already? And they didn't have too many problems while doing so. A great commentary. Blues need to pump that Chiefs defence, says Ruth. What times are you going to broadcast South Africa and the Bulls, says Barry. So we are starting the South Africa game an hour beforehand because there's a lot to talk about in terms of who's eligible for the squad up against the Irish, and also breaking down some stats from throughout the season. I was going to do 30 minutes, but it just wasn't going to be long enough, as last time we did 30 was for the URC final, or the semi-final, and it flew by. And then the final of the URC, we are doing 30 minutes. So far, the Chiefs have lost 2 lineouts. At the moment, I should mention, ladies and gentlemen, morning Hamish. Fun fact, the World XP played 2 games against South Africa in 1986. Says Johan there. And play all rugby in sheep paddocks, where it's meant to be, says Fluffy. Now the scrums holding strong. They're being told to use it there. Christie going across to Caleb Clark, who runs flat and hard at Damian McKenzie. Christie across to Satutu. And at the moment, the Blues' physicality and the breakdowns, of course, going to be evident throughout this match. Now, passed into the pocket, Rico Ioane. Can he get his 50 if he's running it sideways, and he's going to be dragged down again by Wallace Satiti. Christie, pressure on him by Moni Narua. And it looked like a knock-on from Hoskins Satutu. Referee says play on. Rico's close to the try line. He's pushed almost into touch. They may have kept that one alive. I think there was a knock-on, though, from the Blues in the build-up. And, of course, they can go back and check it now with the TMO. Or can they? Actually, this is a different comp. I don't know if that rule's come in yet. It's just fascinating to see how Rassi is rebuilding the box for 2027 World Cup. Our Champions rounds. All right, they want to check this one by the sounds of it. Okay, so they say on-field decision is try. They're checking the touch. They aren't checking for the knock-on in the build-up to that. Okay, number 9 was offside. They've also said there for Cortez Ratama. And also we have got there, I can't wait for the back-to-back world champions, the Springboks, to play. It's nearly 8 months since the World Cup final. All right, first player releases. Akira Ioane. Ooh. Is he... He may have kept that one in the field of play. Akira Ioane here. Does Clark even ground it? Okay, he grounds it eventually. We're going to see it from another angle. Does Akira Ioane... He gets rid of it, but he's lying on a guy. Yeah, that's an interesting one. We don't see that too often. A player who is not in touch because he is mounting, well, not mounting, that's the wrong word, but on top of an opposition player over the sideline. But the try does stand, must not have been a knock-on in the build-up, I guess. And Chiefs looking good, says Relaxing Kiwi. Nobody excited to watch South Africa versus Wales? I think there's quite a few people excited. We are one of them. And mounting, says Zeller. And Moo says Uncle there. Caleb isn't dropping the ball, bad sign for the Chiefs. Now lining up this kick from the touchline, it will be Harry Plummer now. That is not the start to the match that the Chiefs would have been after, sitting 15 points to 3 at the moment. I believe that's about the 6th penalty against the Chiefs now, or at least the 6th penalty advantage. They are probably 1 away from going to the bin. In fact, if that was no try, it probably would have been a player going to the bin in Cortez Ratama. Now getting ready for this kick. Santa, where's my bike? You're missing a couple words from the Kevin Bloody Wilson song. But that's going to be a going over from Harry Plummer right on the touchline. And it makes the score 17 points to 3. That is hilarious. He was totally out, but lying on the dude. My question, right, is this a rule that can get manipulated in some regards? And of course, don't take this too seriously, but is it only if it's an opposition player that you lie on that it's not out? Could you put a teammate over the sideline and stand on him and then jump back into the field of play, score a try? Maybe. Does your dad own a brewery? He does not know. Well, Harry Potter says, joke the woke and South Africa versus Wales. And let's go Blues, says Lorraine there. Good evening, Blues, doing good. That one is going to go high, nicely taken by Sean Stevenson just inside of his own half here for the Chiefs. And good evening, Blues, doing good, says James in there as well. Yeah, currently not looking too bad here for this Blues side. 17 points to 3. Dream start to the match. People need to admit it. Caleb Clark was snubbed during the World Cup, so they're disapproved of his course, yet still they find it absolutely necessary to upstage him. So here's Katzenell. I would probably get more people to the games if they don't rip us off for food and drinks. It was easier to park and travel to. That is true. Like, it is always very expensive at grounds. Although it's not just New Zealand, is it? Like, the cost of food at a ground. You'd think it was made by like a 5 Michelin star chef, wouldn't you? The way that they charge for it. We have good there. You're not going to be very popular walking on your own teammate. That's true. What about kneeling on him? You know, maybe not putting the sprigs into his back, but putting the knees in might hurt a bit. Less, maybe. Nicely taken by Sean Stevenson again. Goes off to Damien McKenzie. Got to attack and run here from the Chiefs fly half. They're on the halfway line. In fact, no, just inside of Blues territory now. Tupavai. Wrestle down Ratama. Goes across there to Sean Stevenson. Gobota Wallace Satiti. Tackled early and hard by the Blues defence. I think Plummer gets a call up to the All Blacks. Says reflecting trees. Now another run from Samapini Finn now. Blues full-back team. Says David. And also we have got there Plummer for the AB, says JSP. See, I put him in my All Blacks squad. And I know that it split opinions. That's a good run from Wallace Satiti. Again, just dragging along Derry behind him. Now across McKenzie. Did they have an advantage there, the Chiefs? I believe there was half of one, but now it has gone Ramika Poyapi now. Moving up to 20 metres out from the line. Ratama goes back across to Luke Jacobson. Christie trying to drag him down. Looking for the turnover. Isn't able to get it. George Dyer now there 10 metres out from the line here for the Chiefs. As the Blues look to get their turnover. Jacobson going to be tackled well by Ricky Riccatelli. Christie onto the ball and wins the penalty. Okay, so he said there that Riccatelli has rolled away in that one. I put on the live man, says Isaac. I mean, there's quite a few other ones on YouTube that are actually showing the game Live, so you could go for one of them. It's their free hot dogs and chips out the entrance, says William. They should give you like a token for a free hot dog if you enter. Definitely if you pay like $50. I would get behind it. You know? Or the hot chips or a hot dog you get for free. You show them the card and then that's good. You get food. Eat at home before you go to the stadium, says Albert. Yeah, but you get tempted, don't you? Like at the end of the day, when you see some people coming past you with like hot chips or a pie or a pizza, it just makes you go, do I want to pay $15 for that? Yeah, because I want a pie. Blues offside all night, but okay, says High Life. Now it's going to be the line-out throw for Ricky Riccatelli, about 35 metres out from the line. A $50 hot dog better be worth it. And also we have got there Funny Jonesy thinks football is rugby. Now lining this one up. 26 minutes in already. This final is absolutely flying by, ladies and gentlemen. That didn't look very straight for Hoskins Atutu, but I think that was because he was thrown a little bit into the gap, so maybe that is why it was on the outside arm. 14 minutes left. Easy dubs, says Talia Uli. Hopefully I've said that correctly. Food included in the ticket price is a genius idea, says Glenn. And yeah, if you're going to charge people an arm and a leg like they currently do, why not give them like a, you know how they have a merch store at the ground? Why don't you give them also like a token for 10% off merch or something like that? And entice them into that look forward. It was accidental offside. I think that was from Amoni Narawa. And it's going to be another bit of possession for the Blues here. And Barry once didn't pay that penalty to Hannigan because there was no attempt to get the ball. Only put his hands on it, says Annoy. But yeah, it's gone through Sean Stevenson. In fact, it's gone straight through him. What's he asking for? He's asking that it wasn't a knock on. It's accidental offside, Sean. And the rain has affected the Chiefs, says JSP. Tackles completed at the moment. 79% for the Blues compared to the 78% of the Chiefs. I remember when game cost $7 to watch the All Blacks in the 80s and bring your own. Now it's only for the privileged. Well, it'd be better if it was Blues versus Hurricanes. Yeah, although, to be fair, the Hurricanes dropped the ball 17 times last week, so if they did that again, they would actually have the same amount of drops as the Blues have points at this stage of their final up against the Chiefs. Another penalty, why not, says High Life. Yeah, they've got themselves the scrum feed about 30 metres out from the line. He goes me 3K, wrong team, says Blues Nate. Yeah, true point. Now ball goes in for Finley Christie. Going to be rolling this one back here. Ball should do well versus Glasgow in the URC final early tomorrow in Pretoria. Says Jonathan. Now Satutu goes on the outside to Perafeta. Chopped him down well. 12 minutes on the clock. And there is a chance that the Blues could be in a position of a bonus point in the regular season. Of course, not in the final. They don't do that. But, yeah, if they end up having one more try here, they would have 3 for the first half, which is a pretty impressive one. My Hurricanes don't deserve to be at the big dance with that shocker last week. And Stevenson Bruh says High Life. Now going across to the right-hand side. Satutu. Another tackle made on him. Finley Christie, sniping run to the short side, doing well here. Giving it away to Kiriwani. Now Tuipulotu running forward. Go the Oranges, says Sujith. They're an underrated fruit, they are. Now, 15 metres out. Oh, unless you're talking about Finley Christie. Maybe. He's gone all right so far in this game. Now, Ricky Riccatelli. Now, sitting 10 metres out from the line. Short ball to Marcel Renata. Getting close here. Kiriwani, but oh, that's an ugly one. Tubavai was going for the ball and he's had 2 men crush each of his legs. You need a battle pass for 2K these days, says High Life. The only place I've ever heard have free food anywhere was at Milton Keynes football. Give all the unsold food away after the game. That's a decent incentive. And he means the Orange Chiefs, says Glenn Woods. So not Finley Christie. Chiefs aren't giving up, lol. Says JSB, yeah, they've had to defend hard. Yeah, see, that's a cruncher. Right there. Vai was locked in the position of going for the ball, and he's actually had a... It's not quite the Quintupaya Darcy Swain thing, but it almost wasn't a mile off, to be honest, in terms of the way that his leg got crunched the wrong way. Luckily, he's all right. Up the Blues, says Johnny there. Now the Blues, though, they have been great in attack so far, and they have been making a lot of metres through the possession. Now it's a 2-2 and behind to Christie. Out wide to Perifetta. Now Caleb Clark. He's already probably verging on 100 metres made throughout the first 30 minutes of this match. Going short side, Ricky Riccatelli. Tackled by Moni Narua. Now Plummer goes across to Satutu. Like I mentioned, he wants to be the highest scoring forward in an individual season throughout Super Rugby's history. He's currently on 12 alongside the likes of a Malcolm Marks. He's actually the only man who isn't a hooker who's on that top list, of course, by position, not by trade. Now 10 metres out from the line and 10 minutes remaining in this first half. Ofatoinga Fasi leaves it for his front row counterpart. Renata moving a little bit slowly there. Hopefully no injury for him. Up the Blues. Forget the Warriors. They got pumped. Says, yep, I'm here too. Now still 10 metres from the line. Finley Christie looking both ways. Will go off to the left-hand side to Ricky Riccatelli. Still building phase after phase here. Tuonga Fasi. Christie to Hoskins. Satutu. The Blues are too strong for the Chiefs. The Hurricanes must be fuming at the moment. Hopefully they don't cry. Says Monet Lagrange. And the Blues are playing good New Zealand rugby. Feed the back, says Glenn Woods. Yeah, they've been very solid and they've been protecting the ball extremely well. Oh, he's knocked that one on, Caleb Clark, just as I say that. Wet weather is certainly favouring the Blues. Playing well on their forward, says Joe Webby, and the Chiefs hanging in there, says Lord Forth. Yeah, they're certainly going to need some other form of points before the end of the first half. Fair to say Finley Christie is a hell of a ranger. I know he's made 54 metres so far, Caleb Clark. Hello from Sydney, says Marius. And Blues just playing more physical, rugged phase after phase. Solid on defence, says High Life. And Blues look in control, says Seller. In there as well. At the moment, a pretty hectic one in terms of the speed that both of these sides have been playing at throughout this first half. Well, we will go like this. We will go like, there we go. We are good, I think. There we go. Right, scrum feed now. Going to be Chiefs ball, but they are still inside of their 22, so they have to try and work this ball out. Ricky is a machine and workhorse for the Blues. Says Kit there. Got 250 on City, score a try. Is that Satiti? I assume, yeah, it might be Satiti, that spelling. If I'm not wrong, big driving tackle there from the Blues. Passing back into the pocket. Here comes Damien McKenzie. Gets it into touch again. FYI, Oranga is what they call redheads in Australia because it's from orangutan, says Glenn Woods. And also, we get their Blues haven't won since 2003. That's terrible, says Ring on the Moon. Well, they're in the perfect position to be able to change that here. They are definitely going to be one of those sides that, you know, maybe it's just going to take one title for them to then, I guess, crank up to that next level, if that makes sense, you know? And now going back across there, short ball. Nicely running forward, AJ Lamb across to a Kiriwani. Did anyone else get pressed by the Warriors' performance? Says Rick Spickle. Yeah, it didn't sound like it was the best game for the Warriors, unfortunately. They did get, as the term is, pumped, as people like to say. But yeah, it was just a one-sided game, wasn't it? 22 metres out. Still in position here, the Blues. Finley Christie going to the right-hand side away to Sam Derry. Chiefs trying to run the ball out from their own line under the conditions. Gura says Joe Webber, Scott Robinson must be at the stadium. Hopefully he is impressed with what he is seeing. Now over the ball, Tyrone Thompson. Wanted the turnover. Nick Berry tells him to get out of it. You're not wearing blue. Tuipolotu. Now sitting 15 metres out from the line. Rico Ioane runs it straight at Anton. Leonard Brown, both men fighting for that 13 jersey in this All Black side. Christie goes across to Mark Talia again. Still making some good meters here. Nice attacking run from Renata. And he's met by a wall of defence from the Chiefs. Here comes Harry Plummer. An extra 5 metres. They're now 10 metres out from the line. Loose ball. It's going to be a knock on there from Tuipolotu. And they will go back for another scrum in favour of the Chiefs. So he's got a bit of a bloody nose at the moment. Come on, Blues, you're starting to bleed. Says Uncle. Yeah, just slips through the hands of Tuipulotu. Of course, in these slippery, wet conditions, you would expect to see a few handling errors scattered throughout the game. I will be a little bit disappointed with the fact that they weren't able to hang on to that one. We have got there, we have got Sam Derry for the All Blacks, new All Black lock. And to be honest, I feel like they do need a couple options in that locking duo just because of the fact that they've lost Whitelock, they have lost Brodie Retallick. There's a few guys that I would like to think would, you know, get the call up. At the end of the day, there are guys right on the verge. I think that another one, you know, when you look at someone like a Quinton Strange, or you look at, you know, if Tuipulotu ends up injured here, we might actually see another lock come in, whether that is going to be, I'm just trying to think of who else we got at the moment in terms of locks. Parry Parkinson, Zai Walker, Leo Whitty, two other guys that people have thought of as possibilities. And she's taking more hits and tackling than a Kardashian website. Says High Life, and hopefully the Chiefs can come back in the second half, or South Africa can come back to Super Rugby in the future. Not for a long time, I don't think. I think they're enjoying the URC at the moment. 5 minutes away at the moment. They are just talking about the All Blacks announcement. It's going to be taking place at 5:30 p.m. on Monday. We'll be covering that one on the channel as well, ladies and gentlemen. So if you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And up the Blues says Frisky. Yeah, the Chiefs now once again have to try and work this out from inside of their own 22. They have spent a majority of this first half inside of that area. And they have to try and change it now and work their way up the field a little bit more. Well, we will go like this. We will go like that as well. Now, ball's going to be fed in by Cortez Aratama here. Looking forward to that, bro, says Rick. And yeah, we might see a few surprises along the way with Scott Robinson's All Black side. McKenzie attempting the cross kick there, trying to get it in behind, but it's well taken by Stephen Petafeta as they sit about 30 metres out from the line now here, the Blues. Did you read Franz Stein's reply to Israel Dagg's tweet? I did not know. I saw that Israel Dagg said that he missed the South African sides, but I know nothing else other than that. Plummer with a great wide cutout pass. Ioane has had the fumble, and referee says it's a knock-on. We have got the, I can't continue watching the game because copyright, says Frisky. Yeah, they're pretty strict on it. Like, we will mention once again, as a disclaimer, we won't be showing any match footage or audio throughout any of these live streams just because they are strict, and it is a shame in some regards that people can't see the games, but at the same time, I think that's so that they can get people onto the right broadcasters, if that makes sense. Get rid of Fiji and Aussie teams. They're awful. Bring back South African teams. Says High Life. Chiefs got to get their asses into gear. And this game reminds me of the Hurricanes versus Chiefs last week, says Teddy Moana, and also Hi Ho Paul as well. Can you put the timer up, says Riley? It is there. It's that little one there, but we're not quite at 38. We're 37 minutes through this game at the moment. Let's go the Hurricanes, says Ayla. And how much will Wales get destroyed by tonight? I hope it's a close game. You know, there is a chance it's a little bit one-sided. Now, going back across to the left-hand side, McKenzie found a 10-9 Nina Satoro. We haven't actually mentioned that man's name much. Oh, he's kicked it out on the full. Maybe we're best not to mention it. May the best team win, no hard feelings, says Frisky. Like I said, they're just not able to take advantage in this one here, passing it out wide. Why would you kick that if your wing is in space? Yeah, it seemed a bit of a strange choice for Tinana Satoro, definitely because he is one of those guys that if he has a good game here, people have talked about him being a very beneficial player for the All Blacks because he offers 15 as well as the wing. And one last ride, boys, up the Blues, says Dion. And Francine basically replied that the Cheetahs would like to get a run again in Super Rugby. I'd like to see it. If the Cheetahs... Oh, Ricky Riccatelli having a bit of a slip and slide there, trying to join the back of the breakdown. That is one unluckiness, I guess you could say, in terms of the amount of run or amount of slip and slide, the amount of wet that we have seen for this game. The Blues, they've got 2 minutes left in this first half. Can I get a shout out to my home country, Niue? Welcome in from Niue. I think we've actually done a game involving Niue. I think it was in the sevens, if I'm correct, that we have covered a Niue game before. That's going to be another advantage against the Chiefs this time. For the Blues, Rieko Ioane tries to pick and go. It's going to be knocked on by Mark Talia. So they will now go back for another penalty. And this would almost use up the rest of the time on the clock if they want to take on 3. Right in front, penalty to the Blues, kick 3 again. I would be okay to do so. Oh, giving away another penalty. This sounds like it's going to be more than likely a yellow card. Look at all the people watching, Hamish. Says Joke the Woke, and interesting to see who loose forwards the All Blacks team. What do you think? Yeah, there's some real good contenders at the moment, and sadly there is going to be a couple informed players who miss out on All Blacks selection, and I honestly don't know who that's going to be because, like I said, there's been so many great options for them throughout this season. Hurricanes lost Blues, the champions, says Vava. The Hurricanes, or the Crusaders of the last decade on this Blues team. Quite an interesting game, says Surin. Can you get a shout out to Samoa? Shout out Samoa. We've been covering quite a bit of the 7. Sadly, actually getting demoted off the 7th circuit, but we will be covering Samoa's July internationals on the channel, so be sure to stick around for them. Did they do a minute silence at the beginning, says Marley? They did indeed, and also I don't think it was for Conaghan and Basham, but they did do the national anthems afterwards, where there was plenty of emotion on the faces of a few of the players. They wanted to leave so they can stay away, says Drink on the Moon, for the South African sides. And it was Samoa playing. Why'd you have to ask me that, Hanoi? I've forgotten who they've got. I have to have a look. I want to say they're playing like Georgia? Are they playing Georgia at one point? I'll have a look for halftime, but they have got 20 seconds remaining here in the first half. And Plummer, once again, has got it over. So that is now going to make the score 20 points to 3 in this first half. But in terms of who Samoa have, they have got Italy on the 5th of July. They have got Spain on the 13th of July. And then I believe they should have one more, but I don't see it. So they've got Spain and Italy are the two that I know. Samoa playing Argentina. Are they? What is going on with the Chiefs today? Unfortunately, they just haven't been able to find their momentum throughout this first half. They need a try here just to get them within 10. But, you know, it's going to be a very hard one to be able to get back into a contest. Definitely in a finals game, like when you start to have pressure and points against you, it's extremely hard to get back into a game. Your opinion, who's going to wear the number 13 jersey for the All Blacks? I think it's either going to be Proctor Ioane or Anton Leonard-Brown. It depends a little bit on the selection that they go with, but I feel like those 3 would be the most likely occurrences. I'm going to watch Game 2 in New South Wales and Queensland. I am hoping to. We do actually normally stream those games, but we didn't end up doing the first one, so we'll see what happens for the second. McKenzie, short ball there, cross to Tupovai. Oh, Ratama having a little bit of a juggle with the ball there. Stevenson trying some quick stepping, but can't quite get through. The Blues are suffocating, and the Chiefs says, get Dyer. Well, they are a bit, and the Chiefs just haven't been able to get that territory pumping for them. They've been inside of their own half for a majority of this game. Ratama back across McKenzie. Finds hands of Tupovai. That looked like Dalton Papali'i was very close to getting the turnover there. Thompson, again, marching forward. Morning from a nice warm day here in sunny Tipperary. Welcome in, Dennis. Is Latrell Mitchell playing? I know he's been causing a bit of controversy, but I'm not actually sure if he's in the lineup. That actually looks like the Blues have come out of that one with the ball. Derry will kick it into touch. And that's going to be half-time, ladies and gentlemen. 20 points to 3. A dream start to this match for the Blues, having the 2 tries, one of Caleb Clark, one of Akira Ioane, and the Chiefs just having the 3 points of Damian McKenzie throughout that first 40 minutes. But we will get some stats to do with that first half. I will mention anyone who is new, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got 2 more games that are taking place today. We're doing Wales versus South Africa. That is going to be kicking off at 1 a.m. New Zealand time, but we are starting an hour beforehand to go through that Springbok squad, as well as looking at everything else that is coming up in the international window. And then also after that, we've got the Bulls versus Glasgow final that will be taking place. That one's going to be a good one, and it is at 4 a.m. New Zealand time. We are starting 30 minutes before that game does start up. Though listening in the Philippines, says Flying Fish. So hopefully you are enjoying the coverage. Do you do a bit of fly fishing yourself? Or maybe just fishing. Maybe you fly a plane and then you fish. Do let me know. And Blues are kicking the Chiefs at the moment. Too tough and organised in the forwards. And yeah, some of the stats, like, I'll be honest, the missed tackles, they're not really surprising, but the Chiefs have made 121 and they've missed 16. So throughout this one, you know, there's been pretty much double the tackles made by the Chiefs and double the missed tackles made by the Chiefs. So their tackling stats are actually pretty similar between these two sides. For that first half, meters gained 282 for the Blues compared to the 133 of the Chiefs. 17 defenders beaten compared to the 8 defenders beaten by the Chiefs. So the Blues are pretty much in the advantage across a majority of the stats. Our Chiefs need to get down the Blues line for the try time. And yeah, in terms of the discipline, we've seen 5 penalties against the Chiefs, although as you know, we have seen maybe about 4 other penalty advantages against them throughout that first half, and just the 2 penalties against the home side, the Blues, for that first half. Listening from Niue, says Peter, welcome in. We've actually got another person earlier on who was from Niue as well. And also we have got there fishing. What are you, 60? Says, I love a little bit of fishing, a little bit of casual pastime, you could say. I fly fish in the Philippines. I catch fish with me teeth, says Fluffy. You must be one of those Alaskan bears that catch the salmon, aren't you? I bet $100 with my friends if the Blues win, says Frisky. You know, in South Africa versus Ireland on July 6th. Good feeling about it. It's my birthday. We're going to kick butt, wink, wink, says Dennis. We certainly are. We've got plenty of international games that are taking place. Some might be a little bit worried that there's not much rugby on next week, but we have got quite a few games that we are covering of that as well. We have got the Māori All Blacks taking on Japan, and alongside that, we are doing some of the Under-20 Championship, which has started up. But the most running metres for the Blues throughout that first half, it's gone to Caleb Clark. It had to. 65 metres. He's beaten 1 defender and had 1 clean break. I find that a little bit surprising because he has been flying around the field throughout that first half. Akira Ioane, he has had 22 metres carry, but he has also scored the try. And then 51 metres carry for Patrick Tuipulotu, beating 5 defenders. He's looking very strong, even though there was a chance that he wasn't even going to be playing in this game due to an injury. The Final Sevens qualifier is on this weekend too, says Geza. That is true. I haven't actually seen many of the results of that Sevens one. I know that South Africa were playing Mexico and Tonga, or they're actually playing Tonga a little bit later on tonight. I don't know how they went against Mexico, although I'd like to think that they won that game relatively comfortably. Chicken burger, says Ayla Abbott. Well, I don't mind a chicken burger every once in a while. Most running metres, Wallace Satiti for the Chiefs. He's had 37, 8 carries. He's had 4 defenders beaten and 1 clean break. And then Rame Kapoiapi having the second most amount of metres made for the Chiefs. He has had 27. Most tackles made by the Blues is Marcel Renata, followed closely by Sam Derry. 8 for Renata, 7 for Derry. For the Chiefs, most tackles made, Wallace Satiti. He has made 16 throughout this game. That man is a workhorse, and he's certainly making an argument for a possibility of an All Blacks bolter. And then also 15 tackles made by Jimmy Tupou and 10 tackles made by Aidan Ross and Jacobson. 12 for Tupavai as well for an honourable mention. Let us watch it, bro. Well, we can't because of copyright. But you can go on the Super Rugby website and you'll be able to see where you can catch the game, because there are plenty of options. It just depends on whereabouts you are. The question of the day is, will Rico get a meat pie? He was close. He was very close, about a metre out, but he did unfortunately get himself knocked into touch. But his brother Akira has scored his second try of the year, so that's one bonus for the Ioane family, I guess you could say. Hook to. I think I pronounced that correctly, Ayla. I assume that's not at a chicken burger. Chicken burgers are great, aren't they? And also we have got the Chiefs going to score a single try. Blues have got this, says Will. And there as well. But anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It is greatly appreciated you all being here for these matchups. Get the old roach, but I would rather roach than a weta. And mine won't. I bet my friend $20 for the New South Wales Blues to win the series. Want to see All Blacks game next week? Are you showing that? Says David. We are doing the Māori All Blacks versus Japan XV on the channel, so be sure to pop in for that. Once again, it will just be the commentary like we are doing for this one, but yeah, it still will be a very fun time indeed. Yeah, second half not too far away from getting underway, ladies and gentlemen. So do let me know in-score predictions at the moment for this matchup. We are in the position of the benches still being pretty stacked, and not many changes have been made at all for either of these sides. I feel like for the Chiefs, when I look through for an X-Factor player, I think Quinn Tupaia is just that. He'll come onto the field in the second half for Rameka Poihipi, and I believe he will add quite the impact for the Blues. Having Bryce Heem back for this game will be intriguing, seeing as we haven't actually seen that man for quite a few weeks. And then for the Blues, of course, having someone like an Eklund or a Ta'aval, have already scored multiple tries throughout this season, and Funaki and Rowe, the replacement halfbacks, who both have a lot of potential of changing a game around. And I have to say, Xavier Rowe is going to have to do that in this game if the Chiefs want any chance of getting themselves their victory. But like I mentioned, the All Blacks squad being announced just around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be an entertaining one. Monday, 5:30 p.m. It's when the squad is rumoured to be announced, and we will be, of course, doing our watch along with that announcement to let you know exactly who is being selected. How many of these players in this game are we going to see make their way into that AB side? And also the other question is, how many players from this game are going to be unavailable due to injury? So far, the first half, I don't believe we have seen any injuries of the extent of missing more than a little bit, if that makes sense. State of Origin is mid, not even a rivalry anymore. Please, when you're New South Wales, were New South Wales competitive, please. Says High Life in France have a good depth. It's crazy, and they're also good, especially their backline players. And we're going to see a couple French players in the Barbarians game. We're actually going to see the midfield combination of Gal Fiku as well as Varumi Vakatava, which will be quite an awesome one to be able to witness. If you have any old spare glasses over there, send it this way. Just sat on another pair. Goddamn, says Dennis. And what a stern kind of scoreboard, Hammy. Yeah, it's a lot more one-sided than many people were anticipating. And it is a shame because I honestly felt like this game was going to be a bit closer than we are sitting at the moment. English or Spanish. Bienvenido de nuevo al canal de Kiwi Lads. But no, English. English is the one that we go with normally. But yeah, we aren't too far away from a second 40 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. And we are only 4 hours away from the Springboks versus Wales stream that we are doing to start. And then, of course, we have got an hour where we will be talking through that Springbok squad, talking through all international fixtures that are coming up in the future, the injuries that the sides are facing. Crazy to see how Dupont has taken to sevens. Says Gizzo, yeah, he's just a world-class player, Dupont. And I know some people get annoyed when you talk a lot about Dupont because people think that you're just bigging up a guy who's, he's very good. And they feel like he doesn't need the praise. But yeah, he's doing very well in the seven side of things. Second still to go. Been a solid game by both, says Mr. Orland. Yeah, the fact that the Chiefs, in their credit, I have to say not many sides will give away as many penalties as they have and advantages just out from their line and only concede 2 tries. So that's like a little bit of a praise you could give them. Whole 40 minutes left. Let's not count out the Chiefs, but up the Blues, says FWTG. And also we were there in the chat, Sam White, in the babies game last game, says David. And also we were there, come on, Chiefs get a try, well, get like 5. Says no, yeah, 5 tries would be extremely handy for them in this match, I do have to say. Like, if they're able to fire back early on in the second half and get themselves, 1 try within 10 minutes, they're back in it. And I feel like that's the type of thing that they have to look for. Just those little goals of, right, we'll tick off a try, we'll then, score a 3-pointer here and there and just slowly build back into what is going to be, I believe, quite a tight finish between these two sides, as long as, of course, they have to get on the board first. That is the main thing. If they can't score first, I feel like they're going to be out of this game. And that is the last thing that they want. Easy claps up the Blues. Up the wires, says Joel. Yeah, they need all the support they can get after that last performance. Hopefully they fire back next week, do a lot better. And go the Chiefs, says Tar. And up the Panthers and the Blues, says Frisky. And there as well. But like I mentioned, off the bench, it's going to be quite a bit of impact. In terms of impact players so far throughout this first half, I have to say Caleb Clark has looked extremely strong. We've seen some great work from Wallace Satiti. What other sport if you got free ticket to go and watch, would you travel halfway across the world to watch? Probably cricket for myself. If the All Blacks, or as the All Blacks will adopt the Blues suffocating game against England, it's hard to say because, I mean, Leon McDonald is in there, of course, but this is Vern Cotter's Blues at the moment, so maybe a little bit, but at the same time, Razor will have his own set of tactics that he's planning for his side. And also Schmidt's name, his Aussie team hammy, good one. Yeah, there were a few names that people were disappointed not to see, but then at the same time, there were some that weren't in there because they had other aspirations, such as, like, people were complaining that Corey Toole wasn't selected, but he is hoping to go to the Sevens for the Olympics, so that is one of the reasons that he was not there. Mark Delaire's got next try, says Johnny. How's the Chiefs outside backs playing, and D-Mac to bring Chiefs back into it, says Scott Nicholson. And there as well. And the drawer, says Palotto. And the Blues have kept D-Mac quiet, says Joe Webby. Yeah, like Damien McKenzie, he hasn't had as many runs forward as we would normally see. I think that Stevenson is at a really shaky game. And I don't think that's just due to the fact that, you know, it's a slippery ball. I think, to be honest, I don't want to make accusations or anything along those lines, but I think that hamstring's still giving him a few problems. But they decided to play him in this game because I guess the other option would have been maybe Josh Ioane, or you put Etino Nanasatoro at 15 and Daniel Rona out on the left wing. That wouldn't have been a terrible option if Stevenson does still have some sort of injury. We know that Bradley Slater was pulled out of the lineup late due to that injury that he sustained last week. Stevenson didn't actually play last week due to his injury, so, you know, you wonder whether or not there is something there that's causing him to play a little bit worse than we would normally see. Also, for the Blues, I feel like Christie has actually been pretty strong. Stevenson should have sat it out in mud, says the cat. And that's the thing, he made the decision last week to sit out for that game. I agree on Stevenson, he's passing too early, not taking the ball up to the defensive line, says Joe Webby. But yeah, it does seem like he is just kind of nursing it a little bit. Maybe you need to watch some real sports like NBA, NFL. Brother Cricket is dead at the World Cup every time, says iLife. I mean, I enjoy a bit of cricket. I enjoy the test match, which I'm sure you'd hate because that's 5 days worth of like 7 hours of cricket. Takes quite a long attention span. We have got there the weather favours the Blues for sure, says Peter Baker. And also we have got there, do you move Etino to fullback for the second half? If they take Stevenson off, maybe. But like I don't see them just straight swapping those two. Like Stevenson goes to wing, Etino Nanasatoro to fullback. I think that would only be if they make their change in the back line. Like they've got Quintupaia as one option. And then as the number 23, I believe, yeah, they've got Daniel Rona. So I honestly would consider putting Rona out there and then moving Etino Nanasatoro. Make that change as early as possible so that they have time. Did Christie play the Chiefs Blues game before the quarters? I think that was the game before he came. Oh, no, he might have played that one. I think it was a late inclusion because Taufa Funaki was supposed to be in the starting lineup but then disappeared. Well, didn't disappear. He was still there. He's not a magician, but he just wasn't available for the game in the end. I think they also made a couple other changes late in that one. Rona to the wing, says Stone Cold, and it looks like the rain has actually got heavier here, ladies and gentlemen, for the second half. Or maybe it's just the smoke. They've just mentioned no team has ever come from more than 7 points down to win a Super Rugby final. That does not bode well for this Chiefs side, but if there's ever a time to do it, it's this one. Warriors got destroyed. What's your thoughts? They got beaten very badly. Yes, not the best performance from the Warriors. How did Japan go? They got beaten badly. Similar to the Warriors, they got beaten by England by quite a comfortable margin in the end. Wallace Atiti is shut down by the Blues forwards. I wouldn't say shut down. He's had the most running meters out of any Chiefs player. He's also had 16 tackles that he's made throughout that first half, and he's beaten 1 or 2 defenders. So, like, he's a player that they're trying to stop from running, but he still made meters, which I think is the sign of a world-class player. Oh, the Blues almost had the opportunity to retain that ball, but it's knocked on by Caleb Clark. It's going to be the Chiefs scrum now, and he's annoyed with himself there, Clark. It looks very dark at the moment. I think they let off too many fireworks at halftime, and now it's kind of got all smoky, which the lights at Eden Park, they're having to work overtime at the moment to get it done. Like they've just said, if Imoni Narawa did not knock that ball on, Caleb Clark, if he did not knock that ball on, he probably would have got through for the try, to be honest. There was a big gap there. So it's probably a little bit of luck for the Chiefs early on, or else they could have been down by 3 tries at this stage. Come on, Chiefs, don't make me sad. Says Caleb Clark as a big chest, needs to learn to catch. Says Scott, nicely kicked downfield from Damian McKenzie now. Oh, well handled by Stephen Petafetta, almost having a bit of a juggle near the halfway line. But the Blues throughout that first half, something that they did extremely well was just keep possession. They didn't allow the Chiefs to get those turnovers in the breakdown. That looked like it could have been close to one, but it's been given as a knock-on from Berry. Who you go for, bro, says Adrian. I predicted the Chiefs to win, which I think I was just being optimistic, seeing as they were the underdogs, but like deep down I felt like the Blues were going to be extremely hard to beat. Definitely because they're on a 15-match winning streak at Eden Park. It looks like Ofa Tuangafasi now coming from the field. What's the crowd like? It's a sellout for this game at Eden Park. I believe 45,000+ in attendance for this game. We've been having dark and wet rainy day here in Sydney all bloody day long. See Glenn Woods. Any thoughts on who's going to win? I think from here, like they mentioned, no side in a second half of Super Rugby has come back from more than 7 points down. So the fact that they are going to have to try and do so in a game that they are down by quite a large margin at the halftime break, like it is going to be a challenge. And, you know, can the Chiefs do it? Maybe. They've come back from deficits before this season. They were up against a Hurricane side that they managed to win by 11 points, but that wasn't with a lead of 20 to start with for the Hurricanes. But it looks like we're going to have another scrum reset here. They've been a bit scrappy throughout this game, the scrums. The Chiefs will prevail, trust the process, says Scott Nicholson. And the Blues 41-13, says Tenny there for his prediction. But looking through at the benches, I mean, Fusitua, the only change that the Blues have decided that they want to make at this stage of the matchup. Will Wales surprise and upset today, and there's no way the Chiefs are coming back from this, says Joe Webby. Yeah, it would be a miraculous victory. Let's just say that. But, you know, the fact that the Crusaders weren't even in the top 8, some would even call miraculous and a massive surprise. So, you know, there's still the chance. That's the big thing to think about here. The fact that there is still a little bit of hope. And go the Blues, don't write the Chiefs off yet, says Dan's Pans. It's a fun name. Try and say that 5 times fast when you've been drinking. But now on the halfway line, Blues trying to get themselves the penalty advantage at scrum time. They do not receive it. Who's the ref? It is Nick Berry for this game. Cross kick from Petafetta. Gets it away to Caleb Clark, who put it in behind, but it's gone into touch again. Do you think AB selection reflects the depth of talent in New Zealand? Seem to see the same old players selected, says Gita. Although this year, of course, you haven't got the same old coach. You haven't got Ian Foster. So I think we're going to see Razor probably select more off form rather than select off name, which could be quite beneficial for some of these young guys to possibly get themselves that All Blacks caller. Voice almost gave way there, didn't it? Now kick downfield. Fair enough. I was listening to Dan on World of Sport. The poll had 100% for the Blues and 0% for the Chiefs. No hope for the Chiefs, says Adrian. Geez, that is a pretty one-sided poll. Was that at this stage of the match or at the start? And Wales going to beat a South Africa rep team. Come on now. Says High Life. Kicked him behind now for the Chiefs. Looking for the touchline, but McKenzie not able to get it there. Petafetta, his kick is charged down by Tyrone Thompson, a man who some didn't even expect to see in the starting side for the rest of the season, up until last game where we saw those 2 injuries of Taukiaho as well as Slater. There's another penalty going the way of the Blues. Right, Tyrone Thompson, the man who has been penalised for that one. They've said that he did not release it. Too much expectation from the Mulu men, thinking they can come up here to beat my hot Blues. And at the start, bro, says Adrian. Literally invisible on my screen, says Blues, Nate. Are you calling Wales box? We certainly are, yes. Now, I should mention anyone who hasn't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button, but also be sure to check out that pinned comment. That is the link to the second channel, which is our other channel that we do sometimes stream on. That is more of the backup one, just in case anything does happen. But be sure to hit subscribe over there too, just to make sure, you know, just in case anything does go wrong. What do you think of the Japan-England game? From the sounds of it, I didn't actually get to watch all of it, but from the sounds of it, Japan unfortunately did get a bit outdone by England. which I'm sure will frustrate Eddie Jones. This is horrible, horrible, I tell you, says No Mum. Now rolling more here for the Blues. They are sitting on the 22 at the moment. The side entry. Still marching forward here for the Blues, but that is against Sama Penny Fee now for the side entry. Caleb was always offside at the ruck, says Flying Fish. And also South Africa world champions, a powerhouse. World Rugby, Wales are jobbers. Didn't it take them a century to beat us? Says High Life and up the Blues, says Grace. Right, 6 in the side. So they are going back for another penalty. And this is another chance for the Blues to add an extra 3 if they want it. Or this is where you can really put your foot down, kick it for the corner, and take the Chiefs completely out of this game. One more try here, I think, would stop any chance of a comeback, which is already a pretty slim possibility. I've never seen a rugby final won by the back line. I always bet on the team with the better forwards, says Surin there. England is not going to be easy for Scott Robinson, says Mornay Lagrange. England is one of the tests, our ABs, to see how good we are. And also we got there Cymru, I should say, I think it is, isn't it? Fleshin. I still don't pronounce it correctly. We'll have an hour before the match, though, between South Africa and Wales to try and get it right. Tuipulotu for receiver in the NFL, says Mr. Orlin. It's far from over. Anything can happen, but go the Blues, says Joke the Woke. Oh, Tuipulotu getting more strapping this time on his ankle here, ladies and gentlemen. So hopefully he is going to be all right for All Black selection, as I feel like if he's 100%, he is going to be one of those guys that can be selected. And probably will be selected as well, I should mention. It sounds like the water is coming off. Simru. Yeah, see, some of the Welsh pronunciations I actually struggle with more than the Afrikaans pronunciations, but the Blues have kicked for the corner. So this is where they're looking to put the icing on the cake, per se. Another penalty. God, it's like having Barnes ref, says High Life. Is it the Ranger Redhead ref? Sounds like him reffing. Nah, Nick Berry's the Australia. Like, he's an ex-Reds player himself. But now Ricky Riccatelli. They're only a few metres out from the line here for the Blues. Wallace Satiti trying to get over the ball, can't get the turnover. So 2-2 within a couple. What time is the bot game in New Zealand? It is taking place at 1 a.m. New Zealand time, but I am starting at 12 a.m. So 1 hour beforehand so that we can go through and look at the squads and also just really break down what may happen in that game. There is another penalty advantage in favour of the Blues. It only feels like a matter of time before another try is going to be scored here. Christie back across the plumber. Where's Ioane? He needs his try. He hasn't. Oh, it's stolen by Anton Leonard-Brown, but they will go back for another penalty. Your thoughts on Reece Walsh? An incident for New South Wales versus Queensland game 1. I haven't actually watched too much of it, to be honest, in terms of that State of Origin game. Because we were so busy on that day, I decided to leave it until just before the next game to actually watch that first one. Rivers not policing his own rule for yellow cards, says Joe Webby. Yeah, to be fair, he did say about maybe 40 minutes ago or maybe 30 minutes ago that he was going to be given a yellow card if it kept on happening, and he has not yet. Looks like they will kick this one for the corner again. Now, I guess that one was a scrum penalty. Oh, no, sorry, second half penalty. It was the third. Not impressed with quality of the game, poor discipline and decision-making all around. Can't wait for the Rugby Championship. Of course, we are going to be covering that one on the channel as well, ladies and gentlemen. And Hamish, you didn't read the message of Krampus. He says Scott Robinson should be very nervous. Says Mornay Lagrange. I've learnt you only read about 50%, if not less, of Krampus's comments just to keep you sane. That's a bit of advice for everyone. And that's 2 penalties already inside of the 22, says Joe. And why are you shouting? Says High Life. But now, it's going to be a line-out throw here for the Blues again. Big up to the rest for no yellows or reds. And also the Chiefs getting too many penalty, losing advantages, says Frisky. Getting dragged down. We've got a donation from Scott. Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciate it once again. You're popping in for the stream. Wales versus South Africa later on tonight, as well as the URC final between the Bulls and Glasgow. We are going to be covering both of them on the channel. There is another advantage. George Dyer, I believe, will be the man who goes to the bin now. The URC looks to be a grade above Super Rugby. Hopefully this doesn't translate through the English AB series. Says Dan's pen. And let's go the Blues. And Chiefs are chasing the game. They are. And currently they're going to be chasing it by even more if the Blues get just a couple more meters forward and get themselves another try here. Around the side. Oh, Tutu's going to be held up. And that is another penalty advantage. That's held up. The whistle has been blown. Here comes the yellow card. Who's it going to be? One black. It's going to be Aiden Ross. Now, was he the one who gave away the first penalty, I wonder? Oh, no. Oh. It's supposed to be one. I'm sure Nick Berry said one for the Chiefs. George Dyer, though, he's leaving the field. So I guess that works. Okay, Nick Berry just having a discussion with Luke Jacobson here. Number one was offside as well. So, sounds like Summer Penny Fee now. Oh, he's disappointed. They've just had the call from the bench that they're going to make a sub. And Summer Penny Fee now sat there and gone, as if to say, why am I the one who's getting taken off? I didn't do anything. They were talking on the breakdown. They hope the ref didn't ruin the final with cards. Says Stone Cold come on. We all know the Blues going to win from the beginning. Says Spider Mick. But yeah, George Dyer now off the field, ladies and gentlemen. And that is the way that it may stay. Well, that is the way that it will stay for the next little while. It's going to be an interesting one. See how it goes. New tactics, send the wrong guy off. What's the time? Says Riley. Currently 50 minutes through this game. Ladies and gentlemen, you push me back off the edge of my seat, Amish. Says Mr. Orlin. And we have got there, don't be such a crybaby, Frin Fish. And George deserves an AB's jersey. Says Blues. No, he'd love one, I'd say. Now off the back's a 2-2. Oh, he slipped. But he's made it. It looks like Caleb Clark. He's in the mass bodies of Blues players. And it is Caleb Clark. That is now his second try of this match. Talking about the All Blacks being selected on Monday. This is a type of performance that Caleb Clark needed so that they kind of, you're going to have a leapfrog list that's slowly going to get changed throughout the last maybe 4 or 5 weeks of rugby. But Caleb Clark, 2 tries in this game, most running meters for the Blues. He stepped up. And yes or no, do you think Razor should do the backspin on the field? I'm not sure. It depends on how good. I wouldn't do it every game that they win. But then saying that, he doesn't do it every game that the Crusaders win. So I feel like it would only be for special occasions. Well, that's the game. Says 9 minutes raining penalties for the Chiefs. Yeah, unfortunately, they've just given away far too many throughout this game. And they haven't been able to find an answer of how to not concede penalty advantages when they're in those breakdowns. As a non-Kiwi, I was hoping for a much tighter final. That's the championship secured, says Sebastian. Yeah, this does seem like it's only a matter of time now in terms of how many points are they going to win by. Harry Plummer has once again got his kick over, making the score 27 points to 3. Anyone who's in New Zealand, you can use the code WINGS, all caps, on the KFC app, and you get yourself 3 free Wicked Wings. We're not sponsored, but everyone loves free chicken, so we might as well let you know that. Robinson just copied Booker T suckers. Says a high life, and that's Sir Kerwin. And yes, he will be waffling on in Italian, says Glenn Woods. But now 24 points difference. Quintal Pye onto the field. That is for Rameka Poihipi, who is the other man who has made his way off the field. Not just George Dyer, of course. I'm loving this so far, says Choke the Woke. Oh, there's a moth. How does a moth get in a house? That hasn't had anything open all day. And KFC says, Robert, commentators have just said the Chiefs are now playing for pride. Can they do something throughout these final moments? There's another knock on, this time against the Chiefs. When you talk about finding form in playoff rugby, you look at the Chiefs in the quarterfinal, you look at them in the semi. This final has been a completely different side. Oh, we have got there. I'm just happy. There's once again a New Zealand team, even if South African club we're here, says Doctor. And the Chiefs are done, says John. But yeah, anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. This is not the last live stream. that we are doing of the day. We are also going to be covering Wales versus South Africa. That has taken place later on tonight, and that is kicking off in only around 4.5 hours' time. So if you are new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. He has a few times for his club, even though he is not a playmaker, but still manages to, says Terry Moana. And up the Auckland Blues, even though I'm from Wellington, says the Bros. And Chiefs will be back, maybe the final again next year, says Jonathan Manson. And yeah, you're in that situation, aren't you, of what does this do to the confidence of some of these Chiefs players? Because don't get me wrong, we're going to see quite a few Chiefs in the All Blacks. But, like, they now have to try and regroup for their game that has taken place in only a couple weeks' time and work out what went wrong here and how they can improve. Because, you know, you look at a few of the players. Finau, his discipline once again letting him down. You look at someone like a Tupavai, you could say the same. His discipline was not great. What's the penalty count at the moment? I believe it's about 8 against the Chiefs, 2 against the Blues. And then the Chiefs have also had about an extra 4 or 5 penalty advantages on top of that. So there's about a 10 penalty advantage per se against the Chiefs here. Wales are getting battered every day. And the Chiefs' form dropped again away about 5 games ago. So I was surprised they beat the Hurricanes, but was hopeful that it was starting back up. No cards yet. Just the one that was for George Dyer. And got a split, really enjoying commentary and insights, says Tar. Well, we do appreciate you being here. Like I mentioned, we're doing the URC final later on tonight. Ladies and gents, also be sure to check out that pinned comment. That is the link to our other channel, where we may also be streaming that game, depending on if we get through this one, of course. But be sure to click that link, subscribe to the other channel just in case. That is the backup one. And one yellow says, Joke the Woke. They've been playing the Bulls for a decade. Have you lost your memory, says Dr. Boo. Oh, sorry, Dr. Pooh, I should say. And Chiefs don't deserve to win, says Non-Mum. Dale Hamish, how did the moth get into your room? I have no idea. He's just chilling up there, though. He can be my new pet. Discipline cost the Chiefs the games. Looks like are there any more changes for the Chiefs? I still feel like Stevenson has not had an A game here, unfortunately. So I just want consistency on the calls, eh? It does help. Going to be having a few beers tonight. Yeah, I think he went to this game, if I'm correct, for Mark. So hopefully he is having a good time. And hopefully he's in somewhere that doesn't have a whole heap of rain falling in now. Kiriuani kicking it in behind. Stevenson is there. Fires the wide pass across. And they're actually going to go back for another penalty. This is in favour of the Blues again. And Blues says Mary. Nothing to do with my statement. Says Rennis. A great commentary brother says Quinton. Thank you very much. And like I said, anyone who is new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We have covered a majority of Super Rugby throughout this season. We will be covering the Rugby Championship, the July Internationals, and also Springboks versus Wales just a little bit later on tonight, alongside the other game that has taken place, which is Bulls versus Glasgow in the URC final. We got there in the end. We have got their winter in New Zealand. Is easy, hard enough, says High Life. Who was complaining about the winter? At least it was someone in the chat. All I said was there was a moth in the house. And also bucketing cats and dogs in the Philippines, says Flying Fish. And also we have got their poor Chiefs. Just came from the hard games against the Canes. Tank's still empty. How's the winter behaving? Hopefully it's not too rough. Nah, it's all right. We're 3 degrees Celsius at the moment. My toes are still intact. So that's a bonus too. Tui Pelotu now making his way from the field, getting a round of applause from the crowd. And he has had a game and a half, Tui Pelotu. In fact, a season and a half. The fact that he is still walking at this point of the season after so many injuries could have taken him out. I feel like the All Blacks selection's just around the corner for that man. Sleep schedule all over the place, Hamish, with the different time zones. Exactly right. We're going to be up for another about 12 hours from here, and we've already been up for maybe about 7 or so hours so far. So we're going to be closing in on another 24-hour day. Roll on the first All Blacks game. Is it 25 or 27? It is 27. The scoreboard just doesn't like me. There we go. As updated. This game sucks. It's just watching a small Australian man with his arm out. What a joke. And they don't even bother showing replays of what the penalty is for anymore. Not worth admission, lol. Says Air Congo. And also, at least it's not a spider, Hamish. You should not worry. Positive temperature. That's not winter. That's a chillier autumn. Jason Ryan in an interview said they aren't adding any more names to the All Black squad during the weekend. Well, they might have to. Like, at the end of the day, though, if there were injuries in this game, they would have had to change people. So I feel like that was a strange statement from Jason Ryan, unless he was just very optimistic no one was going to end up injured. But 22 metres out from the line, again, the Blues are in position, looking for another try to add onto their tally. Good game, Blues, says Gatai, and don't go to sleep, them off or eat your leg off, says Fluffy. Too many soft tries, Chiefs, just give it to the Blues. On a plate, disappointing, says Daniel. Can't believe the commentator said Chiefs are just playing for pride with 30 minutes left, says Stone Cold. Yeah, it's an interesting statement, isn't it? Because, like, don't get me wrong, they are pretty much out of this game, right? But they can still do more than just score one consolation try. Like, they could get 2 or 3, and then all of a sudden they're slightly back in it. How's the weather there, bro? It was raining for a majority of the first half. It looks like it's stopped raining now, though, which is great news. Is anyone selling a barbecue? I am not, but I'll keep an ear out for you. Stephen Petafetta, 10 metres out from the line. Looks like he's going to be held up here by Wallace Satiti. Are they going to yet? Oh, what's that for, Nick? He's gone back again for another offside against the Chiefs. This whole game has been played under penalty advantage in favour of the Blues. Now, that is, of course, because of poor Chiefs discipline, but also we're not really getting a free-flowing game like we used to see them when these two sides go head-to-head with a New Zealand referee. Oh, we have got there, here comes the Jimmy Spitall, come back from the Chiefs. I feel sorry for any team taking the Blues at Eden. Yeah, they're on a 15-match winning streak at the moment. Bro, you're watching the game now? We are indeed. Yep, 20 minutes remaining at the moment, and there's still 15 seconds remaining of that yellow card. Championship, Hamish. So here's Mr. Hall. And next big question, can the Chiefs get a meat pie? Isn't it crazy that with 20 minutes left, we're sitting here asking the question, can the Chiefs, a side that have scored multiple tries throughout the season in all of their games pretty much, are they even going to be able to get one in a final? Like, this is definitely not what people predicted. And I know that some who were Blues loyals would say, yeah, we knew that they'd win it comfortably, but I don't know if this was on the cards, really. Bit of a shame, though. Not a fan of blowouts, especially in finals, says Sebastian. Yeah, you need something that's a bit closer. You know, the Champions Cup final, Toulouse versus Leinster, go on an extra time to try and decide who was going to win that game. Bulls versus Glasgow, it could also be a little bit one-sided. Now looking for the rolling maul here for the Blues. They are looking to close their 4th try of the match. Mark Talia wrestled down again here. Another final, and if this ref, you're on the game, might as well watch WNBA. She said nothing. And have a crisis, choke the woke. And thanks, bro. Oh, I saw something about being in Europe and saying about meat pie. Sorry about that. And fingers crossed Rico can score. Yeah, well, that's the thing. He's been waiting over a year for his 50th try. Is it finally coming for Rico Ioane? There he is. He's passed it across there. Backline movement. Petafetta just down. Clark has a hat-trick if they can get it out wide. There's the pass, and Clark scores his 3rd for the Blues. The score is 27-3-8. It is now not. It is now actually 32 points to 3 as the Blues have scored again. This thought it was going to be a close game. I'm blaming the sideline refs for offside calls. I bet you it's a red here. Kiwi says flying fish. Super Rugby needs South African teams back, says CJ. I don't know how I got KC from CJ. That's not even really close, is it? Other than one letter's the same. Vern Cotter for the next All Black coach. You heard it here first. And, hey, we them boys. And that's Game Boys says FWTG. I don't know why I'm struggling so much with the alliterations. Or not the alliterations, but just the shortened. Are we watching golf? Says James Papuni. I mean, to be fair, if I got round 9 holes of golf only taking 32 shots, I'd be pretty happy. To be honest, in fact, I'd be professional if that was the case. It's got old-fashioned hiding, says Glenn Woods. The Chiefs are suffering the Blues in more ways than one, says James Martin. And where are you from? I am from New Zealand. Acronyms, that's the one. What did I say? Alliterations. We're struggling. The brain's on go slow at the moment. I think that's just because we didn't expect this game to be so one-sided. 63 minutes gone now, ladies and gentlemen, and 32 points to 3. Kick for Harry Plummer. He has kicked his way, I believe, into a fly half roll for the ABs. Not in the starting lineup, but at least give him a jersey, because that is a sensational kick again from Harry Plummer. But Clark's got 3 tries. Plummer's got himself a pretty awesome performance. I'm from Auckland, says John. And none of the finals games have been close. And that's kind of correct, isn't it? The closest game we've had of all of the quarterfinals, I believe, is 11 points. I was up with the Warriors, says Wairoa. Oh yeah, the Jamian says, Joke the Woke and the Chiefs knew who they were up against. Chiefs knew they had no chance. They have no choice but to turn up, says Spider-Mick. And Kiwi Refs and Red Canes game was embarrassing to watch, says Blind Fishing from Fiji, bro. Nice to meet you, brother, says Felipe, I should say. Well, we're going to be giving you updates of the Fiji Barbarians game a little bit later on tonight when they are playing at the same time as the URC final. So be sure to pop in for that one if you are, of course, still awake, even though it is a 4 a.m. game for that URC final. Ricky Riccatelli getting ready to throw this ball in again here for the Blues. Like I mentioned, they've just had a majority of possession throughout this contest, and it's exactly what they needed in this matchup. The fact that they were able to hang on to this ball so much and just take them out of the game pretty much is the best way of describing it. The world expected a very close game, but it looks like a thrashing. I turned my back to make breakfast, and now this score, says Albert. What'd you make for breakfast? That's probably the important question there. Blues to Mickey. Have there been any subs? So they have brought on Xavier Rowe now. They've also got Quinn Tupaia on the field. I see that Jared Prophet's on. And they've got the penalty there for the Chiefs. That is almost unheard of throughout this game. If any people are wondering what this sport is and what's happening, is this rugby final for the Super Rugby Cup in New Zealand. It's a league, says Sam the Gamer. It certainly is. Some good insight there. And finally, a title came back to the Blues, says Ricardo. I thought that another team, other than the Crusaders winning Super Rugby would be fun, or more fun than this, bloody Chiefs. And sorry to say, but it has been disappointing for a final. Yeah, and that's the thing. We can't take away anything from the way that the Blues have played. They've played with what has been put in front of them, right? The disappointing part of this, of course, is the way that the Chiefs have shown up for this final, because everyone wanted it to be a lot closer. And, once again, the Blues can only keep a game close if their opposition are in it with them. And the Chiefs just haven't been in this. Best Blues team ever, all big units. And up the Blues, but good game, Chiefs, says Grace. Oh, it looks like Jared Prophet's now going to make his way from the field, so that will bring Aiden Ross back out onto the field. I think that's for an HIA. He's doing the blinking. That's never good when you got to go off for an HIA and you can't work out if your eyes are open or closed, so you keep on going like this to try and see a little bit clearer. Blues is URC champs to open the season next year. It might actually happen, because I know they did Crusaders Munster last year, didn't they? So it could be a probability of them doing it. Look at this. I should have had a chocolate cake for breakfast, says Albert. I hung my Blues shirt up in 2005. Looks like it's finally coming back, says John there. Now, line out here for the Chiefs, for them to be able to get themselves one try in this match. Can't wait to watch the replay on preview at 9 p.m. up the Blues, says Adrian. Now, line out throw here for the youngster. Now, this is a man who some didn't even think would be playing in this game. Nicely claimed. So I should mention that Tyrone Thompson, as well as, I believe, Simon Penifino is off for Simon Parker. That is another change that they have decided to make. I don't think there's too many players remaining on the bench, because Manakai Selby-Rickett is also out there, although Finau is actually back out on the field. Nice run from Anton Leonard-Brown. Gets within a couple metres, finds the hands of Parker. And that will be the first try of the match for the Chiefs. 65 in. That looked in the nicest way possible. That looked simple. Why haven't they done that throughout the rest of the game? Gresh Clark should get an AB's call, but may miss out because of Bodie. Will Jordan, and if Ruben Love gets a call up, says Laurie there. As a Blues fan, I've been a long time coming. But we the boys, says FWTG. I need to go PP, says ZMKC. Well, make sure you do it once you're at a facility, from South Africa. I'm glad it's not the Crusaders this year. Lowell keeps it interesting, says Albert, as a Blues fan. I know I read that one. Had an American breakfast, a roll and beer with honeymoon, says Bruce. Now lining up this kicker will be Damien McKenzie again here. Is this game going to get a little bit closer before the end of it? I certainly hope so. There's a smile on the face at the moment. And he does get the kick over there. Now making the score 34 points to 10. 4 converted tries, or at least 2 of them converted, of the 4 puts the Chiefs back in this game. That's a long way away, though. I know the Chiefs are going to win now, damn, says Joke the Woke. I'm Chief Dancing, says Flying Fish. I've got goosebumps, proud as for the Blues, says John John. Yeah, they have waited a long time. And of course they won Super Rugby Trans-Tasman, but they have had to listen to people say for the last few years that's not a real Super Rugby title. And now they've come into the season, they finished second on the overall standings, they won all the games that were put in front of them, and they managed to get themselves to the home final from those playoff games. Now, nice attack and run from Daniel Rona. I still think he should have been on the field a bit earlier. He's just been driven in a touch, so I just jinxed him. JK to the Coach Chiefs. And poor Chiefs says Annoy and D Mac and Cheese, says Elijah there. And they haven't done that because they're not smart enough. The defence have been out wide. Stop D Mac inside pass was a great option. And yeah, it is just a shame that it's taken 67 minutes for them to realise that that was a great option for them. And poor Chiefs, best player for all time is Bowden Barrett. Also, best player for me now is Bowden Barrett. All time Dan Carter. Foster to coach Chiefs next year. When Auckland Rugby is strong, New Zealand Rugby is strong, says Peter Baker. And also, are they engraving the cup for the Blues, says Kit Dye. I mean, they'll be close to it, although they have to make sure that they don't do it too early. We just have to hope that it's not like that Super Rugby Aotearoa trophy a while ago that the Crusaders won that didn't come back in one piece. I'd like to think that the Blues would look after it, though. It's been a long time since they've touched that Super Rugby trophy. That's going to be a knock-on from Josh Fusitua. Now Quintupai across to McKenzie. They have actually got about 3 men on the outside here with Amoni Naroa who flicked it on the inside. Tinanana Satoro has dropped that ball. Is it over? It is not yet. They have still got another 11 minutes remaining in this contest. Did the Blues win, says Jelly Bean? Pretty much. They've got a little bit of time left. They've got 10 minutes of the technicality. As long as they don't concede about 4 tries, they will win the Super Rugby Pacific season. Let us see what will happen, says Amele there. And 24 points is a long shot in 10 minutes, says Laurie. It is. Although, when we think through it, what they did up against the Reds in that first half, I believe they were able to score themselves 4 or 5 tries, which is what they need. Ricky Riccatelli waving to the crowd. A big wave. The crowd almost waving like he was royalty there. And, of course, some of the crowd will look at him as just that, the way that he's played throughout the season. Does anyone apart from me think Austin Sututu is not a good international number 8? Says Caden. It's an unpopular opinion, but at times, you know, you might be onto something. I do have to say, though, Sututu throughout the season, a lot better than he was last year. And I feel like missing out on the All Blacks was actually a good thing for him because it made him have to up his game and actually put in those hard yards in training to try and get to that level that the All Blacks wanted him to be. And I feel like he stepped up for this year, but whether or not he gets that starting jersey for the All Blacks, I think, is a wait and see. You've got us good commentary, says John John. Thank you very much, mate. Anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure to check out the second channel. It is the pinned comment link there. Be sure to check that out as well. Up the Blues, says Jelly Bean, and up the Blues, says Vincent there. Now, 24 points difference between these two sides and only around 9 minutes remaining. Tolfa Funaki to put the ball in here for the Blues. James Lowe could have made the ABs in 2021 on the left wing, says Annoy. Now, Caleb Clark bulldozing his way forward again. He is man of the match in this game, hands down. Even though Christie's had a pretty good game, here comes Rico. Look for the offload, couldn't get it away, and it is going to be cleaned up by a Tenai Nanai Satoro now. Of course, I'm joking, yeah. Chiefs got killed tonight, but making the final is still good, says Laurie. And Blues take the Chiefs back to the lobby. I am the Walrus, says Fluffy. That's going to be a drop ball out wide. It was Sandanifi. Did get slight touch out wide. Moni Naroa, he's disappointed with the way that the Chiefs have gone in this game too. I watched the semi-finals last weekend at Eden Park. We should watch it there again, says Vincent. And yeah, the sellout within a day for this matchup. So a lot of people waiting to see whether or not the Blues would be the champions. Chiefs supporters have come far and wide for this game as well. It's just a shame that the scoreboard doesn't quite represent how similar at times these two sides have been throughout the season. What the heck, Chiefs? Says Vinny there. I'm also not a fan of Rico starting at centre for the All Blacks, says Caden. And shout out to my auntie, Indy. Biggest Blue supporter, let's go. And will be painful for the Chiefs in this last couple of minutes. Here's Kit Dyer. Yeah, it's one of those situations, unfortunately for them, that, like, at this point, you know you aren't going to be able to bring this back, but you do know that you can possibly, get a little bit closer. Looking at when the last time these two sides played, it was 31 points to 17 in favour of the Blues. Now, currently there's a bigger split between these two sides. Let's go them off, says Eltons. And now what's for dinner after this, Hamish? I'm not actually too sure. I might have some chicken of some sort. Do enjoy a bit of chicken every once in a while. And me too, says Stuart Moore. It's been awesome listening to you, bro. I'm getting to watch my Blues preview. Have some beers, or have more beers, says Adrian. And of course, later on tonight, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to stick around. We are going to be covering the game that has taken place between Wales and South Africa. That is a 1 a.m. kickoff New Zealand time as the rain starts to absolutely bucket down again at Eden Park. That's going to make a very wet trip to the car. And then also later on after that, there is the URC final taking place between the Bulls and the Glasgow Warriors. So be sure to stick around for that as well. My nan is the biggest Blues fan in my family, says the bros. I am a Chase fan, says Ben. It's going to be thrown in now by the Blues. Taufafunaki, Kiriuani. He's had a good game too, Kiriuani, ever since that early penalty that went against him. Since then, he's really sharpened up, which is great news for them. Are you going to do the All Blacks game like you are doing now? We certainly are, yep. So if you are new, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're covering a lot of the internationals, including South Africa versus Wales. That is coming up just around the corner. They're close to the try line again here for the Blues. Can it be Rico Ioane? He's waiting at first receiver, but Adrian Choate goes around the side. He gets very close. Nick Berry looking for a grounding, doesn't quite see it. Where is Rico? He's lurking behind the breakdown. He wants his try that he has been waiting 400 days to be able to get. AJ Lamb is over, and that is another try now for the Blues here. I'm really happy for the Blues from South Africa. Rico, too much ego. Thinks he's unstoppable. Leonard Brown is a better team player. Says Flying Fish. Thanks for your commentary, Hamish. The best YouTube rugby commentary in New Zealand, says Laurie. And there, I'm a Chiefs fan, but it doesn't look good for us at all, says Kenny. Yeah, this game, way more one-sided than I think pretty much anyone predicted. Like, don't get me wrong. There are a few people who predicted maybe the Blues to win by, let's say, 13 plus or 15 points. But for anyone to have predicted that they'll lose by about 30 points, like, I don't think I saw it throughout the week, to be honest. I think everyone was saying it's going to be a close game and a hard-hitting affair. And 2 Cents Rugby will be loving this as he's actually at the game. Yeah, he'll be loving the action. Probably not loving the weather. He'll have to get to the car without getting too damp. Do you like any of the Sevens matches? Some don't prefer a 14-minute match. Thanks for the great commentary. I mean, I cover all the Sevens that has taken place. We're covering the Olympic Sevens on the channel as well, so be sure to keep an eye out for that. We've been doing quite a bit of the Sevens as of late. Up the Blues, says Utah. In fact, we covered every Sevens league, I believe, since the Olympics, which is quite impressive. How many minutes left? Still another 5.5 minutes, or in fact 6.5 minutes left in this contest. Now Plummer strikes it, and he's got it over again. Tell you what, he has been impressive. Will the AB squad be named after the game? It won't be. It's going to be announced at 5:30 p.m. on Monday, and we will be covering it on the channel. We'll be doing the live commentary of that one too, in terms of letting you know exactly who was selected for the All Blacks. Nothing has gone the Chiefs' way, says Snapper. That one's going to be kicked high by Damien McKenzie. I turned into, I don't even know what that was. It was just me making random noises. It almost sounded like Pac-Man for a second. Very emotional Chiefs. What a one-sided final. Blues are deserved winners, says Morna Lagrange. Yeah, like, we can't discredit anything that the Blues have done throughout this game. They have been on fire, and they have played exactly the type of rugby that they needed to play in the wet conditions. How did Box select a team when the URC is still going? They selected it based off players who weren't playing for URC teams, so there's no Bulls in the South African squad. That is due to their commitments to the URC, but then this is just for the warm-up game up against Wales. Then they will reselect a new squad after the URC final, which will be involving sides or teams that were in the URC, if that makes sense. Thanks, dude, says R2. No worries at all. As Africa has just so much depth. They do. Nice wide cutout pass, or in fact it was a cross kick coming for Amoni Narua. Look for the offload. Rico shuts it down. Oh, what has Clark done? His rib? His rib from running? How has he done that? What's he done? Oh, he's in a lot of pain as well, Caleb Clark. I don't know what he's done here. He was chasing after the ball. He's just running. And then I don't know what's happened to him, but he's gone down hard. And there by the looks of it. And again, Chiefs come back next year. Bowden Barrett should go back to the Canes for a brother duo. I've done an ab muscle maybe. Yeah, it's an interesting one. He's going from the field. How serious is this for Caleb Clark? And does this affect the All Blacks selection that has taken place on Monday? Will be cool to see the URC champs go up against the Super Rugby champs. They actually did that last year, Munster versus Crusaders, and I think they're going to do it again this year as a warm-up game. Who's the captain for the All Blacks for this year? Do you know? Not sure. I know that Barrett's been mentioned. I know that Savia's been mentioned. Tui Palotu is another man who some people have said, but probably between Savia and Barrett at the moment are the two most likely. Absolutely devastating. Chiefs are getting smashed. Says Jeffrey there. And Tolfa Funaki now to feed this ball in. And maybe see the Champions Cup winners versus Super Rugby champs. Says Geza. Oh yeah, I guess that would mix it up a little bit, wouldn't it? It's going to give you the chance of seeing the All Blacks playing French sides, or New Zealand sides playing French sides, I should say. We are the champions, my friend, says Joke the Woke. Taufa Funaki goes back across to Angus Ta'aval. Just 3 minutes remaining at the moment here. And Blues versus Toulouse. There's a nice ring to it, nice break and run from Bryce. This is his first game back since his injury as well. Oh, it's going to be knocked down by Moni Narua. So another penalty advantage as Atina Nasatoro and the All Blacks based on Super Rugby form and Dwayne Monkley medal winner. I mean, he offers the cover of 15 as well, so that is quite handy for the All Blacks if he does make his way in. I'll be honest, he's had a pretty poor game here. I think the only things we've really seen him do is kick the ball out on the full and then knock the ball on. I'll just have a quick look though. I don't want to discredit him if he has actually done something of significance. We'll have a quick look here at player stats. So Atena Nanasatoro, he's had 16 metres carried from 4 carries, 1 defender beaten. In terms of tackles, he's made 5, so the least other than Stevenson in the back line. So, he's had a quiet game, but up until this stage of the season, he's done quite a bit for his side as well. The last thing Scott Robertson must not see for Caleb Clark to be injured. There's Mono Lagrange, but Akira Ioane getting the round of applause. It's going to be his last game for the Blues, and he's going to walk away as a champion by the looks of things. Here, player of the day, I'll give it to Caleb Clark. I think he has been sensational in this game. That's going to be knocked on by Sam Derry. And it is now going to be the Chiefs scrum with 2 minutes remaining on the clock. The good thing about him is he wanted the ball good player, says Joe Webby. And Ricky, the player of the match for the forward, says Kit Dye. Yeah, there's been a few forwards that have stepped up. Like, other than that first penalty that Akira Ioane gave away, I'd probably say that he is even in the running for the possibility of a man of the match performance. 90 seconds remaining. Caleb Clark giving people hugs, and then they squeeze his rib, and he kind of looks like he's struggling there with the hugs afterwards. You can see the Blues celebrating on the sideline. They know that they've done the job that they needed to. Kira could play for Samoa against Italy and Spain next month, says Inouye, although he's also still keeping his options open, I believe, for Japan as the possibility. Has Rico impressed you in the final so far? I can remember you didn't have him initially in your AB squad. Like, he's been all right, Rico. Like, he's made 7 tackles. Made 6 tackles, got a turnover. In terms of the running meters, he's had 31. He's beaten 4 defenders. So he's had a solid enough game. I think I kind of threw him out of the All Blacks just for that video, just to see. Like, I wanted to give Billy Proctor credit for what he's done. But more than likely tomorrow, I'm actually going to be uploading another video of my updated All Black squad, seeing this game as well as seeing, some of the other stats that I hadn't seen initially. I feel like I'm making a couple switches. Will Akira make the All Blacks? Don't think so, no. Why is it Akira Ioane's last game? Because he's going to Japan. He's going to be playing overseas. 10 seconds remaining, though, in this contest. The Chiefs have the line-out throw. What do you think of D-Mac now for the ABs after tonight's game? I think he's still going to be in there. I don't think that this game is one that we can judge for his whole season. I feel like that's the same with Atino Nanasatoro. He's still in the running for making the ABs, of course. But, you know, I think that at the end of the day, like, some of these guys have had great seasons and should be rewarded for the season rather than just for one final that maybe hasn't gone too well. Because they always say, like, the forwards determine the game and the backs determine how much by. That one's gone into Dutchlow for the Blues. They have booted it out. And Super Rugby Pacific 2024 champions. Harry Plummer has collapsed. Is he all right? Yep, he's good. He's got back up. Well, he's been dragged back up by his teammates there. But the Blues are champions in the pouring rain at Eden Park. Their first title in Super Rugby since 2003, with the exception, of course, of that Super Rugby Trans-Tasman. Respect for the Blues, says Vinny, and what a season, says Glenn Woods. Yeah, finishing second on the overall standings, winning this game by 31 points, which I can tell you right now, not many people would have been predicting. When is Super Rugby playing again? End of February next year is when we are going to see it start back up. Congratulations to the man of the match, Caleb Clark. And one on the Blues says Giz, and yes, Blues says the Rose, and go to Blues, says King of Russo. And there as well, where are Kiriwani going to go? He's going to Japan. But it's the end of this match, ladies and gentlemen. 41 points to 10. A clinical performance from a Blues side that at the end of the day did just look like they were a class above throughout this contest. But I do thank you all very much for tuning in, not just to this live stream, but also throughout the whole of the Super Rugby Pacific season. It is greatly appreciated, and we've got plenty more coming in the future. Later on tonight, we're covering South Africa versus Wales. Alongside that, the URC final between the Bulls and the Glasgow Warriors. So be sure to check out those streams too. But if you did enjoy, of course, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, check out that pinned comment, which is for the second channel, the Kiwi Lads Sport, where we are actually hoping to upload quite a few more videos in the near future. Great game, Blues, and a day full of rugby. Blues very focused. There's a leak, and the All Blacks, they need a plumber, says Absman. And there as well. Thank you, Hamish and Kiwi Lads. Great season 2024, and great work, Hamish. I should also mention, we have got the All Blacks squad announcement on Monday. 5:30 p.m. we are going to be live on the channel, letting you know exactly who is making their way in for that side. Yeah, nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all for South Africa versus Wales in only 3 hours' time. But we will see you all for the next one.